Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead.
And I am Nathan from Nathan Does Beer.
And welcome to episode 180 of Beer and Shit, the podcast Adjunct series. Nate, this is our favorite time of year. Is that fair?
It certainly is, yes.
And for those who pay attention, last year, basically at the same time, Nate and I did our, did we call it Pumpkin Palooza, I think?
I think we did, yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Where we did 10 different pumpkin beers, 9 of which were easily found in LCBO locations across Ontario. And we figured this year, instead of pumpkin, you and I have been, is it fair to say, relatively obsessed? I don't know how long, but with Fest Biers in general, with Oktober FestBiers.
It's not overstating it.
I feel like I probably have had 2 or 3 in every session that I've had, I don't know, in the last month. And normally I would have like one lager, but I've been going in. It's just so far. And I know you've been doing the same. So we figured we'd essentially replicate that pod focused on Fest Bier. So we collected 9 different cans and 1 bottle actually, of Oktoberfest beers or Fest Biers from the LCBO. Go.
And to draw the point home that that these are very widely available across the province. Like we each found those in our own local LCBOs. Like Cee in Hamilton, me in Ottawa, we were both able to find this whole lineup. So chances are, wherever you're listening to this from, if you're in Ontario, you'd be able to find these too, most of them at least.
I think so. And that was kind of the intention here. And for those listening from, out of province, whether it's somewhere else in Canada or in the States or beyond, the 2 of them, we have 2 from Germany that you should be able to get. And they were the only 2 that we could find at the LCBO. So we definitely, we figured out the order. Unfortunately, it just worked out based on ABV because we didn't know how else to structure this one. So we are doing all Ontario essentially for the most part, with maybe, I think we have 1 from the States in the first 7. And then the last 2 will be finishing off with German ones. So it's going to be fun, particularly given how much we are both insanely obsessed with everything Fest Bier. And I would say I've had all but 3 of these in the past. Have you had, is there a bunch? I imagine there's a bunch you haven't had.
I've had at least half of them, if not more.
Amazing. Okay, so we're probably in a similar space. So we're going to kick it off. Go.
I was just also going to say, I remember we were commenting last year on a couple of pods, with guests that had brought on Fest Biers for us, and just saying how it felt like everyone and their dog was making Fest Biers, and just how awesome that was. And the same seems to be true this year, and the wide selection of them that are available in the LCBO, widely available to everyone, is just awesome. So sorry I cut off your intro there, but yes, let's get to it. Let's get to the first.
Beautiful. I couldn't agree more. It's a wonderful time to be into Fest Bier. And the first one we're starting with is the lowest ABV of the bunch. This is Wellington's Festbier Oktoberfest Lager, coming in at 5.2%. We were discussing briefly beforehand whether this had been released before, and neither of us were certain about that. So the description on the can, because we figured we're going to talk some BJCP definitions. We're going to go into a little bit of history and, of course, all of our thoughts. So maybe while we're pouring, maybe you start pouring and I'll read the can. Right. So this one says, celebrate the changing seasons with Fest Bier Oktoberfest Lager. And a lot of them aren't worded that way. This is what we're going to try and get to the bottom of. Sometimes it's just Fest Bier. This one's Fest Bier Oktoberfest Lager. Amber in color with a toasty aroma and a hint of caramel. This well-balanced lager is a super drinkable beer with a refreshing dry finish. It's a get-together in a glass, and you're invited. Prost. So, looking at that color, that is exactly as described. Oh, wow. We're using the same glass.
Yeah, we are.
Look at that. Shout outs to Mike at Gather.
Yes, indeed.
We got some good glassware. Actually, most of these, probably both of us are rocking tonight, are either from Gather or Zen.
That's right.
Got a beautiful little head going on here.
It sure does. And that's a great thing with with this Czech Pils glass from Gather, is that you can like, because of the size of it, you can do a nice hard pour with
Yeah.
with whatever lager you happen to be doing it with, and it it comes out with a nice head of foam, and won't spill over.
I love that so much. I think we told Mike on the pod, like that's probably our arguably the favorite part. Aside from the handles on his mugs are so fire.
Yeah.
But also the fact that you can pour hard, and that's something that I used to never do, but now I know it gets rid of a lot of the excess carbon dioxide in the can that would otherwise sit in your gut. Actually, you know what? I'll say this on the pod because I'm really curious. I normally this is a bit of TMI, but I on my drinking nights, I ended up like kind of all night, and particularly in the morning, I am fucking farting up a storm, but it's not stinky. It's just like air. It's like I feel like real gassy. So my theory is that I'm having volumes of beer, like anywhere from 4 to 8, whatever, depending on the night. And then I'm in between every beer, I'm having a glass like this size of carbonated water. So I think it's just like straight, like my whole gut is just fucking bubbles, and it's just letting it out. And then as soon as it starts to smell, I'm like, oh, okay, now we're back in action. Does that happen to you at all?
I don't know that I've ever paid that close enough attention to it.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it sounds like it might make sense.
Okay, I was just double checking. If anyone can fill me on this, if you're on YouTube, comment. But if you're anywhere else, you can shoot us a DM. We can talk about our fights in private. And with that, so the nose on this, super caramel, kind of like almost a little. Am I tripping out with a touch of spices in there? I feel like some of these beers that I've had before have a little spice element to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder if it's. I thought it might have been like tripping myself out because it's similar color to some of the pumpkin beers, and obviously pumpkin beers are spiced up. But
yeah, it's hard to say. There's certainly no spice in this, but you know, you never know what can sometimes come off of those noble hops.
No, that's a great fucking point. Well, to that, cheers to Oktoberfest Festbiers. Get that
Prost.
in your brother. Prost. Is that how you pronounce it? Don't you say it another way?
Probably. I'm probably doing it wrong.
There's some serious people who come on the pod and they say that shit, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, there's the one who say like Ein Prosit or something. I don't even know if that's
it's, you know how people say, so we say Marzen or Märzens or Märzens or some shit.
Yeah, like I remember when we had True History on. I think it was Matt who was saying it super correctly every single time he said it. He was saying
no, it was Adam.
It was Adam. He was saying like Märzens or something.
Yeah, that's where I think I learned how to say it properly.
Yeah,
I guess it's got the little 2 dots on top of the A.
Exactly.
But neither of us, actually, you know what? I was about to say neither of us are German. I know I definitely have German ancestry. Like it was some dude from Germany who came to Australia that like ran the line. So I should fucking know better, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Either way, this is drinking my people. That's maybe why I like it. Anyway, this is good. This is really good. This is so super toasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice little like a grassy bitterness going on. Very smooth, 5.2, so it's not too punchy. Kind of like very bready. I feel like all of these beers have, for the most part that I've had as far as Fest Biers, like a little, like there's always a caramelly thing going on.
Yes.
A little bit of toffee, maybe.
Yep. Yeah,
You know?
that seems to be like a very common thread with this one, and something that will drill into as we go through this, and because we were talking about this off air beforehand, is kind of it seems like definitely the line is blurred stylistically between what's a Marzen. I'm just going to say Marzen. I'm not going to try to pronounce it correctly. Between a Marzen and a Fest Bier, and like the terms are used with a bit of a blurred line, and even when a lot of them will say Oktoberfest Lager, it kind of means either one or the other, or a bit of a hybrid of the two. This one, of course, is actually fully called Fest Bier, that they've used as the name of it. So we'll kind of drill into what it says stylistically the differences are. Depending on what they are, as we try a few different examples.
Yes, great call. And I feel like, as we were also saying beforehand, we are going to look into some of the history of the styles, because it seems that obviously Oktoberfest goes back more than 200 years, which we just learned 5 minutes ago. But there's a lot of history when the style changed, because there actually was a style change historically that we found out. And then there's apparently a difference between Oktoberfest beers and Fest Biers, and then the Märzens, and then we're like, oh, for fun. And then then you could also, you want to get real complex, like a Vienna lager, throw that shit in there. That's next door, obviously, in Austria. And what's the difference there? So we're going to be chatting about all of that since we have so many beers to get through. But overall, solid. I feel like this is, Welly, the Helles Lager has definitely been one of my favorites in Ontario for since that dropped.
It's a great go-to for sure.
Yeah, never upset to see that on a menu when I'm out. And I feel like if I was to get any style from Wellington, probably any British style, so any sort of lager or British stuff, they tend to thrive in, because that's what they've been doing. So this is in that wheelhouse for them. So I dig this. This is solid, man.
Yeah, this is great.
This is great. So I guess the easiest place to start, Nate, would probably be, let's start straight. Let's just fucking facts. Let's not ramble. Let's go straight to BJCP.
Yes.
Shit here. So we both have it. Do you want to kick that off?
Yeah, sure. I'll kick that off. So since they've called this one Fest Bier, let's start with what the BJCP classifies as a Fest Bier.
Yes.
So starting with overall impression, a smooth, clean, pale German lager with a moderately strong malty flavor and a light hop character. Deftly balances strength and drinkability with a palate impression and finish that encourages drinking. Showcases elegant German malt flavors without becoming too heavy or filling.
This feels like that's on point. All things there.
I would agree, and
quite
we're
malty.
I'm not gonna go ahead and read every single part of this, but I'm gonna touch on just one point on appearance, because I think this is where we're going to see a lot of variability as we go through this.
Yes.
So the appearance that it describes for a Fest Bier: deep yellow to deep gold color, should not have amber hues. Bright clarity, persistent white to off-white foam stand. Most commercial examples are medium gold in color. So I think that, like I say, I think that's where we're going to see a bit of departure here, and this is one example. So this I would call kind of mostly copper in color.
I would agree. It's not quite amber, because we have the next one is amber.
Yes,
this is definitely copper.
Yeah,
but
I would say this is copper.
Would you say copper? What did it say? Deep up to deep gold. I think this is definitely darker than deep gold.
Agreed. This is darker than deep gold. This is trending towards amber. So I would say that this has what they would probably classify as amber hues. It's leaning amber. It's certainly not medium gold in color. But
no.
But that said, I would not have classified this color as out of character for a Fest Bier by any means. At least by what my own definition of this was, outside of a very technical one.
You know what? It's interesting you say that. I feel exactly the same, and I think it's because in the last, I checked even on Untapped, one of the ones we're having, I'd had 10 years ago. And when I knew nothing about the style, it was just another lager to me, I guess. And historically, I think all of the ones that we've had have typically trended like this, have been kind of this color, some darker. And this year, I got a bunch from the States a couple of weeks ago, and I've been drinking everything I can get my hands on here. Obviously, you and I got Victory Parade from Tooth and Nail. You grabbed some and shot them over. As many local ones as we could find. And one thing I did notice this year that I sort of hadn't really even put together in my head to bring up here, but I'm glad you brought it up, was I felt like they were a lot lighter than this, like the ones that I've had in the last, say, month.
Yeah.
And I was a little surprised by that. And then this kind of confirms why, because I'm like, this is not what I thought. Every time I pour one, I'm happy to have it, of course, but I'm like, oh, this is way light. This kind of just looks like a Pilsner. Sometimes it legit looks like a Pilsner, the ones.
Totally.
And just maybe a pinch darker on the SRM. But not like fucking, not like this at all. Not like a Vienna.
Yeah, and Victory Parade from Tooth and Nail should be no surprise. Definitely is more on the medium gold side. as an example, like of what you were saying there.
Yep.
Still has a lot of that, like still has that kind of same flavor profile. Although like Victory Parade, I would say is a good bit drier than this.
Yep.
And like it's
Definitely.
so considerably less sweet, which is again a little more on brand. No surprise that Maddie went like very technically accurate with it. Just because that's what Maddie does. And again, it's a great fucking beer.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And this has given me like a bit of clarity. Like I was saying, I really didn't realize, and I think that maybe maybe more like some of them weren't really trying. That's probably why they're all labeled differently too. Like this is Fest Bier Oktoberfest Lager. So I feel like once we get into the history, that'll probably explain this name a little more. And some of the ones we have are sort of slightly different variances across it. So perhaps I guess I'd be curious because, like you said, Matt would have gone stylistically accurate BJCP to the T.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't know if every other brewery had those intentions. Maybe they're just like, let's just make it however we feel. This is kind of what it is. Nah, we like it a little maltier. Maybe they just tweak it to their taste profile.
Yeah. And I think that this is like there are certain styles that like really should be brewed like as close to accurate as possible. But this is one of the cases in which I personally am not very purist about. This is one where there seems to be a bit like outside of BJCP, there's a bit of general acceptance of blurring of the lines with it. And that kind of seems to be the case with most people brewing Fest Biers or Märzens or whatever they're choosing to call them. For certain ones who get very specific over the differences, I really, really appreciate it. Like shout out to True History, who are the only ones that I can think of, certainly in Ontario and definitely even beyond, who release both a Märzen and a Fest Bier. So so they definitely get really in the weeds of the differences between the two, which I know we discussed with them on the pod about like around a year ago, because we had both of those on the pod with them, and we broke down Sticks and Stones. Yes, we broke down what the differences were. But outside
152.
But outside of that,
December.
Yeah,
sorry.
But outside of that, definitely a bit of variance between different folks' interpretations of it.
Yep, I agree. And I'm not too purist about it. And I think also because we're both just learning right fucking now that that's what it's supposed to be. So
yeah,
I just feel like if it's good, it's good. And I kind of almost if you were purist about it, I can see you like if it's not exactly on point, you maybe not enjoying it. But like because maybe we had a little bit of a lack of knowledge, which we've spoken about at length here, where we don't know as much about these more classic styles, that we're intentionally, we had a long ass pod with Bim from Godspeed really getting in with the True History boys, really diving deep into all of the more technical aspects of all of this stuff so we can learn. So I think it's almost our lack of knowledge has allowed us to just be, hey, this is nice, I like it, without having to be like, oh, it's missing this, it's too amber. Now I know, but I'm still gonna fucking enjoy it.
And it's cool. It's cool to be able to talk to folks like Maddie and Bim and Adam and Matt who really, really care about these styles a lot. And those are the ones who are really going to appreciate the differences and and kind of the ones who can educate educate us and the public through these beers.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So because we have, am I moving too fast if we go now?
No, let's do it. We have a lot to get through.
We have 9 beers tonight, guys. So we're just trying to keep it pushing. And the reason why I wanted to push this through and pause for a second on finishing just skimming through some of the rest of the BJCP is this next one. Let me just triple check I'm not mistaken. Yes, this next one is totally different to what we just read. This is not even close to being on what's it called? On style.
Yeah.
Yes. So this bad boy is the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. There we go. Obviously from glorious Boston, Massachusetts, greatest state in the nation, and it's 5.3%. This one, so the other night, so basically one caveat for all of this, it was not really a caveat, just something to note, is that both the Samuel Adams beer and one of the other ones are in 6-packs only.
Yeah.
In the LCBO. So we both got 6 packs of it, so I did have those before the pod, so I could be a little more familiar. Do you want to read this time? Can you even read that?
Oh yeah, I can read that.
Go for it.
Also, this year, look, this barcode is in the shape of a pint.
That's sick.
Which is kind of cool.
I love that.
Okay, so yes, I will go ahead and read the description here. Malt brings so much to a great beer. That's why we developed a unique malt blend to provide a robust color and smooth, rich flavor. Like you, we look forward to this tradition every year.
Look how dark this is. Wicked head, though.
Yeah, that's significantly more amber, this one. Woo!
Do you know what's interesting? The last one I had, the liquid was seeping out of the seal of the can, and it's doing it the same here.
Oh, really?
It actually did it to the point of spilling all over my kitchen counter. This time, thankfully, because I poured over my computer, that would have been devastating.
So mine was spilling over too, like not dripping out the seams of the can, but as soon as I cracked it open, it started bubbling over.
That was the other thing I had with the last one. So this one didn't bubble over, which I should have. So lucky this didn't, or I would have been in a bit of strife with this fucking computer. But yeah, this I don't know what's going on. I think maybe they're the biggest craft brewery, period, in North America at least. I don't know if anyone else is bigger that's considered craft. So it could just be the sheer volume that they're producing in. Did you read? Oh, you read that, right? Yes. So the malt. So this is like so much. Just to put it side by side, because obviously we're not going to finish them on the pod. Like, just look at that color profile difference. That is fucking night and day right there. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a wild difference.
Huge difference. So obviously it's very much not on style, but it is Samuel Adams, who make fantastic beers. And I imagine this was a very, very intentional thing for them. They just didn't want to produce it any other way.
Now, not on style color wise for a Fest Bier. Now, they have not used the term Fest Bier. They're calling it Oktoberfest. So that might be another difference to dive into as we go.
With a C, and not even
not with a K.
Not with a K. I'm trying to see if there's everything you just did. You read? Oh, this is a different one. This says in 1810 the Oktoberfest tradition was born when Munich celebrated the Crown Prince's wedding with a special beer and 16-day party. Our version of this classic style, that says it there, blends rich malts for a hearty, smooth flavor with notes of caramel, creating a brew that's perfect for the season or whatever you're celebrating. Okay, well, with that, Nathaniel. Oh yeah, nose. This has got even more spices than the last one.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Honestly, I really thought that they tried to combine a Fest Bier and a pumpkin ale. That was my first thought when I had this the other night.
But I feel like no, but that's definitely not the case with with any of these. Like, I don't think any of these actually have spices in them. I feel like this is just a noble hop spice. Do it.
It must be. Get
Cheers.
That up, yeah.
Same glassware again.
Did not plan that. Reading minds. So I also think this is good. Now this tastes a little tangy to me.
Mm-hmm. This almost has like a marmalade kind of thing to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not loving it. And it's not saying it's not a good beer. It's also like the carb is off. I feel like, and it's almost like because you said yours sort of spooged out of it, because mine the other night did too. And then there's something to do. So maybe that seal, it's not sealed properly. So the carb is kind of like, I don't know if it's oxidized. It doesn't look anything like that, but the head held really well. It just has something about it. It's a little like, it's like tangy. I don't know if it should be tangy, no?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like tang is not what I'm tasting. To be honest, like I'm getting a bit of citrus along with that kind of much more pronounced sweetness than the last one, which is making me think kind of marmalade.
I can see that
sort of vibe. This one definitely with that sweetness. Like, this is definitely a chewier beer than the last one.
Much maltier. Definitely more caramel
Mm-hmm.
than the welly. The spices kind of come through, and then I'm just getting something weird going on, something strange for sure. So I don't know if it's my palate, which is potentially it. No one else. I'm just scanning through on tap, but also this beer has 1 million check-ins. So
Yeah,
think about that. How many cans? If it's got 1 million check-ins, and how many people who drink this beer do not use Untapped? I mean, they're doing millions and millions and millions of these cans. So
yeah,
I mean, the sheer volume must be insane.
I
But
would think
it's definitely a more unique take on the style in general, I guess. And that's kind of the purpose of tonight anyway. Like, I feel like, yes, I'm definitely not saying it's not a good beer. This is the you know what the other thing is? Like, I don't know if I can really see this without show you. Can you see? You can't really. But basically, the way the head's broken up, it's like it's stopping in clumps. Normally, the head just kind of dissipates and disappears, and it's completely clear on top. This is like clumpy head.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, man, I wish one of us was a brewer and knew more about this shit. But like, it just feels there's something that indicates something, like infection. Is it infected? There you go.
Okay, clarify here. Let's
Count
sharpen up. There we
is.
go.
Mine is even clumpier than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. That was a good idea. Interesting. Do you think that means something? Are you familiar with?
No, not enough to be able to speculate.
Here we go.
Oh yeah,
like really clumpy.
Okay, there must be something a bit like a bit off with yours.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it might be.
And you didn't, and you, I don't think you mentioned that when you tried it, that because you were texting me when you cracked it open the first time. I'm wondering if that might be an off can.
It could be. I remember not loving it, but I definitely, and I think it might have done the same on top, but I definitely don't remember this level of like a tang, which is throwing it off because it doesn't go with the malt, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might just have a dud can, which is fine. But it's interesting to get one from the States and to get something from a legendary brewery like Sam Adams. So I would still heavily encourage people to do it. I feel like maybe I just had a bad can in the batch, or maybe a couple bad cans in mine.
Yeah.
But once again, sheer volume is craft still, even if it's the biggest craft.
You know what? You know what I'm also tasting a bit too is kind of like a red tea sort of thing, which and someone has yeah, exactly. That's what that's exactly what I was about to to lead to, is that that's there is an astringency to it that is a little off-putting.
I wonder if that's intentional or if that's some sort of an issue.
Yeah, I don't know,
because I don't know why they would do that for a beer like this. That's such a legendary one of theirs. I'm not even just in general. Like, I can't see that being, because astringency wouldn't suit the style. Grassy bitterness from noble hops would, as you mentioned earlier, but not that. So perhaps there's something going on with this batch. I mean, look, maybe the LCBO aging program fucked it up or something. Like, either way, so it's fine. I feel like when it's so good that it's a beer that you have to always try. It's a classic.
Oh yeah, yep, for sure.
It's just maybe we got a couple duds here. So
no, I'm not mad that I'm not mad that I bought it. I'm not mad to be drinking it now.
Not at all. No, it's. I'm sure the rest are fine.
Yeah.
So just a quick skim through some of the rest of the BJCP, just to maybe now we've had two to put it in more perspective. The aroma, moderate malty richness, toasty doughy aromatics, an impression of sweetness, which is interesting. Low to medium low floral, herbal, or spicy hops, which the spiciness that we could be detecting maybe could be that from the hop so far. And the malt should not have deeply toasted caramel or biscuity quality, just clean lager firm character, which is interesting.
Yep.
And then the flavor. So this is, once again, this one's significantly darker than they're suggesting here, but it's supposed to have a medium to medium high malty flavor with a lightly toasty bread dough quality and the impression of soft sweetness. I like this impression of. I've never really heard that much before. They're also saying medium to medium low bitterness, which I don't think I'd call either of those medium bitterness. I feel like they're pretty chill.
I would have said I would have said somewhere around medium bitterness for the first. I think.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not getting a lot here. Supposed to be well attenuated and crisp, but not dry, which I guess that probably is that sweet maltiness. That would make sense because of the malt being ramped up a touch from, say, a Pilsner.
Yeah.
Medium to medium low, floral, herbal, or spicy hop flavor. The taste is mostly of Pils malt with slightly toasty hints. And the bitterness is supportive, but should yield a malty, flavorful finish, which is interesting too. And just the mouthfeel finally is the medium body, smooth, somewhat creamy texture, medium carb. Alcohol strength is barely noticeable. So that's pretty dope.
Yep.
And they're saying here that the style represents the modern German beer served at Oktoberfest, which I think we'll get into shortly. Although it's not solely reserved for Oktoberfest, it can be found at other events. It's sometimes called a Wiesen, Wiesen, which means the meadow, or the local name for the festival, which I saw that word. I think it's on one of the German ones we have.
It is, yeah.
You saw that? Okay. This is BJCP chose to call it Fest Bier since by German and EU regulations, Oktoberfest Bier is a protected appellation for beer produced at large breweries within the Munich city limits for consumption at Oktoberfest. No shit. Interest. So Oktoberfest Bier, one word with a K.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest Bier. And then other countries are not bound by these rules. So many craft breweries in the US produce beer called Oktoberfest, but based on the traditional style described in these guidelines as Märzens or Märzen. Huh. Interesting. And since 1990, the majority of beer served at Oktoberfest in Munich has been this style of Fest Bier. Export beer, specifically made for the US, is still mainly of the traditional amber style, as are US produced interpretations. Well, conveniently, Paulaner, which we have towards the end, first created the golden version in the mid-70s, 1970s, because they thought the traditional Oktoberfest was too filling. So they developed a lighter, more drinkable, but still malty version that they wanted to be more poundable. Okay. But the actual, which makes sense, right? But the actual type of beer served at Oktoberfest is set by a Munich city committee. Fucking no shit. And then, we're going to do a deeper comparison to a Märzens here, but it just says less intense and less richly toasted than a Märzens, and it's more rich, heavy in body than a Helles, which is definitely the fact.
Yeah,
with more hop flavor and higher alcohol, less rich in malt intensity than a Maibock, also makes sense, and the malt complexity is similar to a higher gravity Czech premium pale lager, without the associated hops. And the specific commercial examples they're giving all German ones here, I guess, but they're Augustiner, Hacker-Schorr, which we have Hacker-Schorr in the LCBO, but I didn't see this. Hofbräu FestBier, which we have to wrap up. Lowenbrau, Paulaner, which we have. Schronemer Gold, and Weihenstephaner, which they did not have.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Honestly, I'm learning from this. I hope other people learn too, because this shit is fascinating. Okay, so that's the Fest Bier BJCP. How are we feeling? Next?
Yeah, let's crack up the next.
I guess having water is important here.
Yeah.
Breaking it up. So we're heading back to Ontario, folks. With another local short can. I have had this one before, so I haven't had it for a little bit.
As have I. I've had it as recently as a couple of weeks ago in a restaurant.
Amazing. And was it on draft?
No, it was from a can.
From a can?
Yep.
Still glorious. So this is Mr. October with a K from the Lords at Left Field in Toronto, who we have to get back on the pod. It's been 6 years. Fuck. And there's 5.4%. There is no sort of writing. Then you have ballpark pairings, which is brand appropriate.
Which they appropriately say soft pretzels with grainy Dijon and schnitzel.
Oh,
that sounds right.
I can fucking go for that right now, right? Mr. October. Let's see if there's anything on. Here we go. Yo, your turn to Paul. I'll read this one.
Yeah.
So this one says, named for the postseason Major League legend himself, Mr. October FestBier. I don't know anything about baseball, so all this shit is over my head. Is a smooth and clean pale German lager with, moderate malt flavor and light hop character, showcasing elegant German malt flavors like bread crust, honey, graham cracker, and lightly floral Tettnanger hops with easy spice and citrus notes. Crisp and balanced, Mist October comes in clutch when celebrating all the joys of postseason baseball and enjoying beer garden hangs. Prost. So, are we going to choose the same glass, Nate? Oh, I don't know which one to do now.
No, I picked one that I'm pretty sure you don't have. So
okay. Ooh, I gotta represent for Zenon.
Oh, there you go.
I got that. What's it called? Nonic Pint.
The Nonic Pint.
Fucking hilarious name. Okay, so this is just to show this versus the darkest.
Yeah. And
then the medium one here. Just while I'm waiting for this head to go down. So obviously this is actually like hilarious that we got ones this different at the very beginning. I'm sort of not really thinking about that. We were literally just going by ABV.
Yeah.
So
this one is definitely more on the golden side in color. Like you could even say that this is straw. Like you wouldn't like if you were looking at it just based on color alone, you could easily say that could be any other kind of lager.
Agreed. And this is more what I was talking about earlier. This is my experience with all of the Oktoberfest beers that I've had so far. They've all been looking like this, and I'm always like, what the fuck's going on? But, well, as far as this, this is basically gold. This is exactly on style. The nose, that's where you tell the difference. If you poured a Pilsner side by side and say it looks similar, this nose is very different. It's very, this is very spicy, very, very malty. Cheers, you legend. Get that up, yeah.
Cheers.
Whoa. Nice. So this one is kind of to a T with the style, I would say.
I would say so, yeah.
It's got all of the things, obviously the color, it's got the bitterness, it's got the floral, the spice character.
Yeah.
Not too sweet, but not dry, not like bone dry or anything. It's definitely got that sort of toasted bread crust thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Yeah. Like just kind of a mild like honey or caramel sweetness with the really kind of, yes, it really is more of a honey sweetness like with this one, which fits with the prominent bready character quite nicely.
Yeah, I quite like this one. So this one is also the one thing that might be off with this, and not a bad thing at all. It's a little more sharply carbonated, because they said it was supposed to have where did I see it? Sorry, do you remember what I said? That was when I was reading this out.
I don't.
Look for the word carb. Medium carbonation.
Medium carbonation, yeah.
So medium is, I would almost say this is bordering on like sharp carb. Like this is like burpy. This is like pilsnery.
I
kind of prefer that. Or is it? Maybe I'm just comparing to, I think my Samuel Adams was a little flat. So anything more than that.
It's hard to say. Like it's hard to say. Like it definitely does have a more prominent carb, certainly than the Sam Adams did. And like even though the sweetness is not very prominent, it does have like that does create the illusion of it being a little more creamy.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, this is a nice one. This is really good. I think this is
really on point.
Yeah, and now I sort of like, I'm appreciating the variances in the malt, but like I almost now having 3 side. I know we've got 6 more to go, but this is kind of more the vibe I'm thinking I prefer, because it comes almost back to that historical part they were just talking about there, where it was saying that was Paulaner changed it to make it less filling, and I feel like this is less filling than something like the Sam Adams that is less sharply carbed and sweeter and like stickier, which just sort of seems to be maybe a little more cloying in your gut, whereas this feels like a bit more like a light lager or a pilsner, where it's like a little more crushable in that sense.
Yeah, this is definitely a crusher for sure.
Yeah,
which really which also really fits with left field's whole like with left field's whole thing, right? Like I could certainly see this being a ballpark beer. Like certainly more than the Sam Adams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like this. This is great. Once again, this is pretty readily available. I had it last year. I just double checked. I had it last December, so I must have picked that up in an LCBO too, and I remember enjoying it. So, yeah, definitely something that that is easy to come across here. So, should we move on to the BJCP for the Märzen?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay, I was talking a lot last time, so I think it's your turn.
All right. So Märzen. So that's M, like we were saying, M, A with an umlaut, the two dots above. At least I think that's an umlaut. I'm sure some linguists might correct me on that if I've got that wrong, but I think that's right. RZEN. Overall impression: an elegant multi-German amber lager.
Umlaut.
Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
With a clean, rich, toasty, and bready malt flavor, restrained bitterness, and a dry finish that encourages another drink. The overall malt impression is soft, elegant, and complex, with a rich aftertaste that is never cloying or heavy. Okay, so that's an important distinction there, is that like the ones that are leaning more amber, that is more characteristic of a Märzen. Is what it sounds like. And as they go on to describe appearance, amber orange to deep reddish copper color, should not be golden. Bright clarity with a persistent off-white foam stand. So that's a pretty significant distinction right there, is that it's more characteristic of a Märzen if it's more amber in color. And what is it saying here? Is saying a dry finish. Okay.
Yeah.
So
not cloying.
So I think that, exactly. So I think the sweetness that came out of the Sam Adams one would probably be a bit much for either. Is what I'm reading here. Like the
color-wise, it's on point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Color-wise, it's on point. But I think the sweet profile is maybe a bit off.
I think that's mostly what it is, because I don't know if I'd call it well attenuated in the finish.
Yeah, whereas the Welly, I would say, was well attenuated and had certainly had more sweetness than Mr. October here, but sounds like maybe more appropriate sweetness, level of sweetness for a Märzen, perhaps.
Yes, that's a great point. That's what it sounds like. It's needed to be. So it's immediately this is kind of like abundantly obvious now that we're really diving deep in this. Like I'm just like, oh, it's totally, because I always felt like I could never pick the difference.
Yeah,
but I feel like this is so straightforward. It's like basically like, even though this isn't it, but this and this, there you go, done.
Yep.
Basically, but that's once again though, like in Sam Adams' defense, they just call theirs Oktoberfest with a C.
Yep.
So they're not even, I think they're doing their own take on everything, which perhaps we'll see a bunch of that tonight.
Yeah.
And even with the, moving on to the aroma, the moderately malty, rich bready, somewhat toasty, light bread crust, but also clean lager fermentation character, which that's interesting as well. So this shouldn't really be overly yeasty, I guess. Low floral, herbal, or spicy hop. So low floral. And I think usually Fest Bier had medium, I think. Low to medium. So a little bit more, which I think suits the lighter body a little more, because you wouldn't want too much of that in like a deeper reddy, like the Sam Adams color.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't even mix. This makes complete sense. Caramel sweet, biscuity dry, or roasted malt aromas are inappropriate. That's interesting. So once again, not judging anything, because who knows what the fuck they intended. So I think that this is not even that either, because they're they're not biscuity dry, but I'd call it caramelly sweet for sure. And roasted malt are inappropriate. That's interesting.
Which does help to explain the color, because more like malts that are more roasted are going to create more of a, like a 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 more of a, like colors that are leaning more leaning darker for like first towards amber or more brownish in color. So that does stack up.
I think that's definitely right. It also is saying the light alcohol might be detected, but it shouldn't be sharp. And the clean, elegant malt richness is the primary aroma. Okay. These are pretty fucking different beers, eh?
To read these descriptions side by side, it does make them sound quite different.
Yeah, where they probably just get lumped in together. It's like, oh, yeah, all the same thing. I'm like,
yeah.
And
But like from what we've had so far, like this left field one is definitely like the most stylistically specific, falling in the Fest Bier category for sure.
Yes. And you know what I think? We didn't even look up Märzens in the LCBO, did we?
I did when I was putting this list together. I searched for Oktoberfest, Fest Bier, and Märzens, searching all three of those is what compiled these 9 beers.
So that means there's essentially no Märzens in the LCBO then.
Yet searching for Märzens does still turn up some of these results. I think it tags them as similar. So searching for Märzens does bring these up.
Interesting. A thing that I'm noticing that I'm feeling, I just ate obviously before every pod. I don't know about you, but I always eat right beforehand to have a thing. All I want is like chips.
Yeah.
Now I don't know why it's doing it to me. I guess because this is what we're gonna be drinking. Tiff's cooking right now, so I can smell just food. I'm like, or
probably could even say a pretzel too, eh? Like a salty pretzel. You could crush that right now.
Oh, that would be, but just like slowly with this, just like, or even like the little mini pretzels. You know, like the Seinfeld. These pretzels are making me thirsty type joints. I even had. We got like we went to our butcher here. We got because they make Firehouse. We get all like fire organic like produce meat and all that stuff, and they had all these different sausages. So we tried to get like a bratwurst. We couldn't get one, but I had like a couple of little like hot dog buns, but with like boss ass. So they weren't bratwurst, but it was like, you know, put sauerkraut on that shit and tried to be get in the mood, you know,
right?
But and I'm relatively full, but fuck, I could do it, man. And I'm looking in the basement. I got like our like, you know, overflow storage, whatever, and I'm got a bunch of Trader Joe's chips and stuff. I'm looking at it. I'm just like, calm down, buddy.
Oh man, this is making my mouth water even as we're drinking these beers here.
Should we just jump on Uber Eats and just be like, someone just drop off some to go to the convenience store? Shit. Okay, where are we at? We're at. Do we do flavor? No, we did aroma. We didn't even get to flavor yet.
Yeah, we did. Wasn't that where you were? Like, wasn't that where you were saying?
Biscuit. We did. You're right. Mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have moved it down. So this is supposed to be a Märzens. Sorry, it's supposed to be medium body, smooth, creamy texture that suggests a fuller mouthfeel, which I think it's pretty clear that they are.
Yep.
Medium carb, fully attenuated, without sweet or cloying impression, and maybe slightly warming. Interesting. That's kind of why I really do feel like the Samuel Adams one is almost like a pumpkin mixed with like they took some inspiration, some seasonal inspiration from that, because it's neither of these things. It's its own little beast.
Yeah, it really does feel like it's its own its own thing. It's really just like a fall lager that they've just kind of created their own thing for.
Which is dope. I think that's actually fun too.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I don't if that's what they're going for. I don't have a problem with that.
I am not mad at that at all. And to bring this one home for the Märzens, so the additional information here, it says modern domestic German Oktoberfest versions are golden. Export German versions, to the US at least, are typically orange amber and have distinctive toasty malt character and often labeled Oktoberfest. Many craft versions of Oktoberfest are based on that style, which is probably why, once again, we're getting more of those. Historic versions of the beer tended to be darker towards the brown color range, but there have been many shades of Märzens where the name is used as a strength. This style description typically or specifically refers to the stronger amber lager version. The modern Festbier can be thought of a lighter-bodied pale Märzens by these terms. That's interesting. And that comes into what they were saying before about Paulaner making a less filling version. And as the name suggests, brewed as a stronger March beer in March and lagered in cold caves over the summer, Modern versions trace back to the lager developed by Spaten, Spaten, in 1841. Contemporaneous, that's a good word, to the development of Vienna lager. No shit. However, the Märzens name is much older than 1841. The early ones were dark brown, and the name implied a strength band, 14 Plato, rather than a style. The amber lager style served Oktoberfest from 1872 until 1990, when the Golden Fest Bier was adopted as a standard festival beer. So that maybe the Paulaner one, they did it in the 70s, and then they were saying in the other one that the Munich city decides what's going to be the Oktoberfest beer of the year. Maybe they brought that in 1990 then.
Right.
Dude, this is I want to take BJCP so bad. This is the main thing. I think Cicerone is dope, but I think that this is more like this shit will give you like what we do, talking to brewers, talking on the pod, drinking, reviewing, writing about beers, like so much more information that I feel like we just kind of wing it and you just learn shit along the way, but this like structures it and puts it into sort of like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Fascinating, Nathaniel. Fascinating to me.
Absolutely.
So that's the difference in commercial examples of the Märzens. So Hackeshaw, Oktoberfest Märzen, Hofmark Märzen, Paulaner Oktoberfest, which is not what we have. We have that Wasm, Saalfelder, Saalfelder, and Weltenberg Kloster Anno 1050. So those are the examples of that. I only knew a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting, Nathaniel. Okay. This is good.
That's dope.
This is great. I guess next one, eh?
Yeah, time to move along.
That was very Canadian because you didn't. It sounded like you said like a boot.
Oh, jeez.
Do you say a boot?
I don't think I do, but like, but I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be so definitive as to say I definitely don't.
I'm just fucking with you, but yes,
it was definitely one of those things of I didn't realize how much of an accent I like as a Canadian that I had before I was before I traveled Europe with a bunch of Aussies actually, and like me and my mate were the only Canadians in the group, and there was like 24 Aussies, and and they were all fascinated by our accent.
Were they doing the boot thing?
A little bit,
yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of other things that they picked up on that weren't even Canadian stereotypes that I unfortunately can't even remember any of them right now, but like that they were cracking up at.
I know the vibes when you're stuck on a bus and you're going around with a bunch of people, you get close quickly.
Yeah.
I always liken that to reality TV shows. When you see reality TV and the people get close and they start crying, get all emotional, it's because when you're in this confined environment, the emotions are heightened to completely unrealistic things where your entire world is these people. And as soon as you get out of that, then you're like, oh, fuck.
And that especially like that kind of thing is more likely to happen like in your early 20s too. Like you especially get close to people as soon as you spend even a small amount of of time in close proximity with them.
It's so true. We did in 2004. I was 23, and I did a 10-day trip around the Rockies in Vancouver, like the whole thing. And there was like, I don't know, 20, 30 people, and you just like, everyone was your bet. Like we even met these two Scottish girls. We stayed with them in Glasgow, and they came and stayed with us in Melbourne, like type shit, like kept friends for a long time. So we were children, and it worked out nice. And then there was a German dude on the bus. I think we called him Schnitzel. Racist, huh?
Very creative. Very creative.
I know. What can I say? I was a thinking kid. Speaking of German, this is not German, but it's a German style guy.
I was going to say, what the fuck are you saying? Speaking
I don't know.
German?
I always tried to do a little shitty segue. So this is Creemore's Oktoberfest.
Not your best work, if I'm honest.
Criticism noted and internalized. This is the Oktoberfest Celebratory Lager from Creemore Springs. Are they Creemore Springs or just Creemore now?
I feel like it's just Creemore now.
Oh,
when they were independent, it was okay. Now you know what I shouldn't speak too fast. Like the logo here that's still on the side of the can. And why is it not sharpening? Come on, get in focus.
Come on, you got that. Let's see if I can beat you.
Anyway, it's not going to do it. But there is still the OG Creemore Springs logo on there.
There you go.
There, yours did it.
Because I can tap it. I'm close enough to it. Now I also like the orange pull tab that goes with the rest of the can.
Yeah, with the gold top.
With the gold top. Classy. Love that attention to detail.
Yeah, that does look good.
Who bought these guys?
Molson Coors, I'm pretty
Molson.
sure.
Okay. So I used to fucking love Creemore back in the day.
Yeah.
Loved Creemore. Drank a lot of their stuff. Felt like they just had really solid lagers. Now this one's 5.5. Oh yeah. Is it my turn to read? Do they have anything on this one?
No, I don't think they do.
Okay. I'll read it off on Tapped after.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Pull it off on Tapped because I don't have that pulled up right now.
Beauty. No worries. So now already looking at this one. This is, look at the cascading on that. Great head.
We don't have the exact same glass, but branded differently, but it's basically the same glass.
Basically the same glass. I think it actually is the dimpled glass.
I think so.
Yours is beautiful. The Sankiem. I got the Lager Bier one. Shouts to Sankiem.
Yeah.
I don't know why they never did fucking.
I've been bugging Jacob about that. They definitely still do the Vienna lager, but they've never done a Fest Bier.
Interesting. We should ask him. We should have him back on. It's been a while. So I really like. They've got a wicked head on it.
Yeah, it sure does. This one has a great pour.
So this one, on Untapped, this is the official Untapped, and there's not a single descriptor here. So we'd have to Google it. Breweries, put your fucking info on Untapped. I know not every brewery cares, but I just feel like it drives me nuts when it's not there. I just feel like it's so much easier if it's there. There's a few words I just found here. It says caramel colored, medium body, dry finish. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's been they've been around since 1987. So these are some OG. I had this beer twice, once in 2016, once in 2014. So once again, before I cared nor knew jack shit about the style. Now, looking at this, I'm going to hold up the Sam Adams one because I think it's about the same SRM, which is interesting.
I would have said the Sam Adams is still darker.
Let's find out. I'm looking at it across the table, so I'm probably wrong, but let's see. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah.
Although
not as darker as I might have said. It is darker for sure.
You're right. It's this camera's not picking it up. This is so much lighter than this. Way more than the I think.
And there is more clarity in this one. This one you can see straight through.
Yeah, this is good. Well, mine actually is a little cloudy, to be honest. Yours is much clearer than mine.
Is that just a bit of chill haze in yours, or?
It could quite possibly, even though Noah Forrest from Beerism thinks chill haze doesn't exist. The dickhead, it fucking exists. Nathaniel, okay, nose, malt, bread.
Yep.
Really malty and bready. No spice though.
No, and it doesn't taste it doesn't smell caramelly either.
No, what does that smell?
I'm getting more I'm getting kind of more just the bread.
Straight bread, straight caramel.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not even getting caramel, to be honest.
Really? I'm getting some caramel.
All right.
Either way, get that in you.
Cheers.
Okay, nice. I'm getting a bit of that tang again. Starting to wonder if that's my palate. Are you getting that?
You know what?
Maybe
I'm getting I'm wondering if that's it, because I'm getting the same kind of marmalade sort of vibe. I'm wondering if that's if that's kind of what we're tasting there.
Could you dive into that a bit more? The marmalade, just expand on that.
So, just there's a bit of kind of citrus zestiness to it,
like pithiness almost.
I don't know if pithiness is even right, because that implies a more prominent bitterness than there is here.
Okay.
But just kind of like a citrus zesty kind of pop to it, which combined with the caramel malty sweetness is making me think marmalade.
As I'm drinking that, I think you might be right. Tang is not the word. Zest is a little bit more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of strange. And it does feel like, do you know what it is? You know how you always see sometimes in real dank haze, you get a stewed mango type of thing. It almost feels like stewed citrus or stewed orange, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
marmalade. I had marmalade recently and I really liked it. And like I went to brunch somewhere and they gave us this wicked marmalade. And I was like, fuck. I had my grandparents used to have it when I was a kid, and I always think it was gross as fuck. And I was like, yo, this is fire. Maybe it was some like whatever house-made stuff. But yes, this has definitely got the malt here. It's definitely got the SRM closer to a Märzens than a Fest Bier. This is claiming to be an Oktoberfest Celebratory Lager. So I kind of almost feel like it's its own thing once again.
Yeah, maybe. Although yeah, like they,
You know what I mean?
yeah, no. I get what you mean. Okay, so as I'm giving this more thought, I'm also wondering if what you're calling tangy is also just that astringency that we talked about before, because I'm tasting a bit of that as well.
That's what it is.
I feel like that must be it. Yeah,
yep.
That's it.
I'm just I think when it first hits your palate, because we just had a real clean one with the left field, and this like hit it and you say, oh, and the first thought was tangy, but I think if you actually sit with it for a second, it's that tea, like herbal tea astringency, like almost like not herbal tea, like orange pico.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes.
The dark British tea type shit, English breakfast, whatever. Which is fine. Don't know if it's as intended. I mean, I don't know if it's
I mean, whether it's intended, whether it's intended or not, it's kind of impossible to say. But it's definitely not, I would say, stylistically on point.
No. I also wonder, and I want to be a little generous here, because once again, I got a soft spot for Creemore from back in the day. Obviously, typically breweries that are bought out by larger breweries, they're going to scale up smaller recipes. When you scale things up, it's impossible to keep it the same. So perhaps something's going on in the scaling process. Once again, they were bought some time ago. I've had this a couple of times. I only gave it like I'm a generous untapperer, and usually my average is like 4. But I gave this a 3.5 in 2014 and 2016, and I think that's really what it would be now. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it. It's just that astringency / marmalade thing. It doesn't sit nicely with this sort of richer caramel malt. Think caramel and then marmalade. It doesn't go together. And then add a little bit of like a touch of grassy bitterness in there. From the hops, I mean, it's odd.
The flavors are clashing a little bit for me on this one. I do appreciate that it's a bit like that. It's not as sweet. It's not coming off too sweet by any means.
No, but
the flavors are not really gelling for me.
Clashing's the right word. What you said before was perfect. It's flavor clash between the malty sweetness, the astringent tea, and the kind of stewed citrusy marmalade vibes. All three of those things don't particularly work. Now, I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if, obviously we both got the cans in different parts of the province, so it could be the batch, perhaps. Yeah, do you have the same batch as me? Read yours out. There's
H122412551.
Oh, mine's different. Okay. So there's different batches, but we both getting the same thing.
Yeah.
Which suggests that it's just how they're doing it, and it's what they're after.
Yeah, I mean, when you've scaled up to to this point, I would not expect a ton of variance between there, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's what the macro folks are literally incredible at. The consistency.
That's what they should be doing, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's the McDonald's. You go to get a Big Mac in Australia or get it here, and it's the same shit. It's kind of what Tiff and I both worked at McDonald's, and we always compare how the processes, and they're identical in both countries. It's hilarious. Even the sayings they always say, like if you're standing there and you're not doing anything, time to lean, time to clean. So it makes you sort of like, particularly when you're 15 working there, you're like, okay. It's good shit. So like you see that and you kind of expect that from this. So yeah, look, this is fine. I feel like these are 4 very different beers, dude. I feel like by the end of it, we're going to have 9 very different beers. Like I think these are much more different than I had in my head.
Yeah, that was certainly more than I expected.
Significantly more. And it's been color-wise, everything.
Yeah, like it's been, I want to say maybe 8 years since I last had this one. So
Same.
it's been a minute,
Yep.
and yeah, like this looks about right color wise, like from what I was expecting. But yeah, like this is really an interesting experiment having these having these back to back. And I remember thinking the same thing last year when we did the pumpkin one. Like having them back to back like this like gives you the kind of comparison that you really don't get otherwise.
Could not agree more. And it was to the point where I kind of felt like we were like, it was a little, this is much more pleasant to do because it's like crushing 9 lagers.
It is.
Whereas the pumpkin beer, the spices, the sweetness, the different, we had coffee ones, we had latte ones, we had fucking like everything. And I remember that being
that's palate overload.
Overload, palate fatigue by the end of it. Whereas this is a much more pleasant experience as far as that's concerned. So I'll start touching on a little bit more of the history because we have some other links and stuff here where we're just gonna keep
and I've got
while you're changing the battery.
So go for it.
It's exactly what I was thinking. So maybe I don't know if I read. So basically, it's saying Märzen is the original style of Oktoberfest, but it's not what is served today. So a Fest Bier, sometimes called a Wiesen, Wiesen, once again. Oh, Fest Bier, like French, or Oktoberfest Bier, or one word. And the Oktoberfest Bier, again, is a name that can be only used by breweries in Munich. Once again, if there's any people here, I feel like there might be some folks watching that all know just more than us. If there's anything that we fuck up and get wrong, please let us know because we'd love to know. We're just taking this from the internet and taking their word. But BJCP is a pretty good authority, and this is a homebrew website I found that's got the whole thing. They got like a recipe for it and stuff. This actually reminds me of a recipe site. You know how you go want to find an apple pie recipe and there's this whole fucking story and shit for SEO? I hate that shit. It's feeling like that, but this is actually helpful. So Fest Bier has taken the place of Märzen in Munich during Oktoberfest, which is just past or still at the end of it. It's a relatively young and mostly unknown style here. And the traditional celebration, okay, here's the actual thing. The traditional celebration of Oktoberfest stretches back to October 12th, 1810. So that is 214 years. Is that right? Yeah. No. Yeah, 214 years. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude, you're the math guy. It was on that day that Crown Prince Ludwig I of Bavaria, gang, was to be married to Princess Therese of Saxony-Hildburghausen. You know the fucking vibes. The beer served at the wedding were true Märzen or March. That's gangster. You get married in 1810 for some Crown Prince and they're rocking some Märzens. That would be so fire to pull up to a wedding.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'd be fucking amped, bro. So beers brewed in March and lagered until fall and winter. These first festive ales were probably something like a Munich Dunkel. Okay, so a Dunkel is a little deeper, probably closer to the Sam Adams color type shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like and that would even trend trend towards brown sometimes.
I was about to say,
like yeah,
browning, not sometimes,
like a really deep amber, like amber brown kind of thing.
Brown, yeah, as opposed to Vienna lager, which is probably closer to the amber style.
Yeah.
This is interesting. A change came in 1872. Gabriel Sedlmeier, the head brewer at Franziskaner, Franziskaner, which is now part of Spartan, which I've had Spaten. I've had them before, and we talked about them earlier.
With your accent, it keeps throwing me off. I keep wondering if you're saying Spartan, but like Sparten.
Oh,
but no, you're saying.
How would you say Spaten?
Well, I don't know if it's Spaten or Spaten or something. I feel like Spaten. Well, and like with it being German, it's probably more like Spaten or something like that. But
I was trying to say it like the last way you said it. Say it the last, not the Spartan, but Spartan, the second way.
Spartan, yeah. I was hearing it with with an imagined R. That's a dumb tangent.
No, it's okay. We go, this whole podcast, when it's just us, we can do.
Oh yeah.
People are out here, they rocking with us. If y'all listen to this, we appreciate you. This is some deeply nerdy beer shit. So we appreciate y'all. So that brewery, that Gabriel dude, saw an opportunity in the quickly changing beer landscape. Pale lagers were becoming all the rage in much of Europe. That's hilarious. All the rage. I love it. It's just like crispy boys taking over. Imagine being in fucking 1872 and be like, bro, let's do this for Instagram.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't funny. In an attempt to take advantage of the changing tide, he brewed and introduced an amber lager based largely on a Viennese recipe. So maybe that is Vienna lager. I don't know. He called it the Marzen, UR-Marzen, which means original Marzen. It sold so well that other breweries quickly began to copy the style, and soon it had replaced the darker lagers at Oktoberfest. This style that Homeboy did is what we know as a Marzen today. So even if it's a pale lager, it's still a Marzen. I would have thought that would have been, but either way, okay, whatever. I just wouldn't have, it said replace the darker lagers. I thought there was supposed to be already amber, but maybe amber is lighter than the darker, more maybe probably closer to brown lagers that they were drinking.
I guess, yeah.
Didn't really specify. So it'd be 100 more years before further changes touched the beer of Oktoberfest. In the mid-70s, Paulaner, as we said, in Munich, decided the Marzen style wasn't the ideal beer for the festivities. The brewery felt it was too filling. Sounds like they wanted to sell more beer at the festival to me. It also may have been another attempt to follow the crowd as the festivities found popularity with more visitors from around the world. Whatever the reason, they started experimenting, searching for a style of beer that was still reasonably malty, but less heavy and lighter in color than a Marzen. A more quaffable, easy-drinking alternative, Fest Bier was the answer, and since the 1990s has been the only beer poured at Oktoberfest. So this is the exact same info that we saw on BJCP, so I love seeing that. Yeah. Today, there are only 6 breweries given the honor of pouring at Oktoberfest. I didn't know this. Paulaner, Spartan, Lowenbrau, which I thought only made a fucking hef, but good to know. Augustiner Brau, Starlich's Hofbräu München. Oh, that's probably the one we're about to have, Hofbräu, and Hackeshaw, right. Hackeshaw Brau. All pour Fest Bier. The most of them still brew and bottle, an example of Marzen. So that's, and I reckon, oh, and looking at this, it's damn near they copied and pasted this from the
BJCP.
Yeah, for the most, I'm just scanning it, and I'm like, it looks almost identical to what we just read out. And they give a bunch of examples of Oktoberfest beers and things like that. So that, dude, this is fucking fascinating to me. Yeah, I love this shit so much. This is like, this stuff gets me more excited about beer than anything else. I love this immensely.
Yeah, this is great.
Speaking of loving it immensely, number 5.
Yep, number 5. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this one. I've had this one a couple of years in a row. And the second, the second year that it's been in this format. Certainly not going to drink the entire like the entire version of this tonight. But this is one style that I'm okay with coming in this format.
Yes, we've briefly spoken about this.
Yes,
and we've seen this more in the States than here in Canada, but. I feel like we're seeing more and more of these in the LCBO now.
Enough teasing.
This is Muskoka's Stein-sized Fest Bier.
Yes. Coming in
at 5.5% in the 19 or 568 mil, if I'm not mistaken. It's 19.2 ounces stovepipe. Is this a stovepipe?
Yes, this is a stovepipe.
I imagine it doesn't say ounces on here. I guess Canada doesn't need to do that shit.
No.
So this is a big bad boy. I wonder if it'll fit in our gorgeous gather glass.
Oh, good point.
I'm gonna buy like the OG mug.
Yeah. This big beefy Stein here.
There we go. So while you're posting, raise a Stein-sized can filled with authentic German-style Fest Bier, traditionally served throughout Oktoberfest, as we all just learned, ladies and gentlemen. This pale lager is smooth and bready with both herbal and spicy notes. Celebrate the camaraderie this season brings by toasting a Stein-sized lager with friends and family. A vessel worthy of being served under the tent of the world.
Hang on, sorry, I got to interrupt for a second. Just look at that gorgeous pour right there.
Look at it. Are you moist?
Look at that.
Are you moist, Nate? I think I'm
moist. That is gorgeous.
Ooh. Do you know okay, so now, telling, because I know you've got a bit of tungsten light going on. So I thought maybe yours might have looked a little more amber, but no, mine's looking
pretty amber.
Yeah, no, we're looking the same. I was about to
I don't like a little amber. Like this again is similar to
maybe a little copper is a better
it's
word than
like
amber.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's similar to the like to the Welly Fest beer. I would say it's pretty like pretty similar.
We'll do it side
So
by
yeah,
side.
more the copper thing going on, I think. And we're even in similar
I
glassware
keep
here.
yes. Oh, you just put them side by side. Here you go. You know what? Fuck, man. You nailed it. That's basically it's on camera. It looks different.
Yep.
In person, it looks identical.
Yeah.
Um,
This is perhaps a like maybe just a half shade darker, but it's definitely got a copper vibe going on. Is how I would have described it.
yeah, I can see that. So what did I like? We had this. Oh, I had this October last year. Okay. So yeah, I love that Muskoka did this. I was very happy to see that this was back again because I don't know, I kind of just generally like the love Muskoka. Been drinking them since like I moved here, and it was a big part of my early craft beer journey. And I just like the style. I think this is kind of fun. I don't know, this time of year, man, I just feel like the best shit happens this time of year. It's like before the weather gets truly shit, and like pumpkin spice comes out. So you and I are both PSL basic bitches. We love it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, the food gets a bit better. You get to finally break out the hoodies and the sweatsuits and all that shit. And Fest Biers now. Fest Biers are the greatest part of the thing, along with leaf peeping season. Which I gotta figure out when we got a leaf peep. Are you leaf peeping this year? Even if it's local, don't have to go anywhere. Like just
yeah. Yeah. Like we'll definitely do some local. It was a thing I saw a thing came up in my reels on Instagram of like a tourism Vermont thing, and I was like, oh my god, I was just feeling. I was feeling like I was missing out so much. I'm like, man, I haven't been to Vermont in years, and now I'm getting so much FOMO now. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to go for some local
stuff. I was thinking we were talking about it too. I was thinking about doing because we're gonna like every month we go to Buffalo, so I was like, I want to see what's around there. Maybe there's something. We went to what's it called, Finger Lakes in July, and it's not that far from Buffalo. So I was like, oh, maybe you could just day trip, just dip down real quick, see if there's something that's like supposed to be beautiful, and see that. Maybe there's something else local. Obviously, everything around here is fucking gorgeous. Leaf peeping's the best.
Yeah.
So this one, beautiful big head, nose, caramel.
A very fresh nose on this one.
Definitely different to the others for sure.
Yep.
I feel like there's like a pinch of. It's not. I don't know if it's spice or something. Maybe it's a sweetness you can smell.
Yeah.
Well, let's get that in us, big fella.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Nice. I like this. Lots of caramel.
Yep.
No marmalade that I can detect.
Yeah.
Or a pinch. Is there a pinch? I feel like there's almost maybe a touch of that astringency. Like a touch. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I said water before this one.
Let me give that another go.
Honestly, guys, this is like fucking. It's not palate fatigue yet because there's 5 of them, but when you try and tell the difference between the same style from all these different breweries, it's a lot.
I think there could be. I think there is a touch of the astringency in this one. It's definitely not as pronounced.
No, it's a lot
as it's been in the it's more subtle for sure. This one comes off like there is sweetness around the mid palate. I find it dries out towards the finish. So the sweetness is not too intense. It's not it's certainly not cloying by any means.
No. It's yeah, the sweetness is present, but it's not, it's definitely not over the top. I'm getting still a lot of that toasted bread.
Yep.
Like the aftertaste or what's sitting in my mouth now is very pleasant.
Yeah.
Lots of caramel. When there's like a little bit of bitterness going on in there, but
like this one, this one has more body to it than say the left field. Like this one strikes me as closer to a Marzen than a Fest Bier.
I can see that.
because it's got a bit more body to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still easy to drink.
Yes. Yes. Mm. Yeah, I feel like the sweetness it starts with it feels like it's about to get sweet, then you're like boom, bitter, and the bitterness cuts the sweetness off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're trying to merge onto the 401 and some dickhead fucking let you in. She's Ontario drivers. Ontario drivers are the worst. Don't get me started. Have we talked about that?
Not specifically, I don't think.
Okay, I don't know if I ever said. I'm gonna say yes.
And that's a bold statement coming from Montreal too.
I'm not a Montreal. Okay,
fair. Oh, that's true. You didn't spend a lot of time driving in Montreal, I guess.
Because I rented a car from Montreal.
Yeah,
straight here, left the city. Ontario drivers are some of the worst I have ever been around, and I've driven at least on the east coast of the states, literally from here to Key West, all the way down in every state.
Yeah,
it's psychopathic. The main thing is that people brake for no reason. When they don't need to brake, you just decelerate. What you do is when your foot's on that, you just take it off just a little bit, just take it off instead of braking, because you don't fucking need to brake, and then everyone brakes.
Yeah.
Then secondly, merging.
Learn how to zipper merge. I'm with you on that. Folks need to learn how to zipper merge in this province.
Nate, thank you. I learned that term recently. I didn't even heard it when I was in, and I can't remember where it was. It was the Nashville trip. So it was somewhere between Detroit, Nashville, Indianapolis, and coming back again. Somewhere in that region. I experienced the zipper merge.
Yeah.
I fucking creamed my pants. I could not believe that that's how it felt. I'm like, this is so easy. Yes. I could probably sit here and tell you 3 to 6 stories of times where I've nearly had an accident or people did something stupid whilst merging, and it's all about all the traffic. No, that's not true. And a reasonable percent of the traffic in this province is by people not knowing how to merge. And I don't know where it comes from. All that I've learned is that some people theorize that it's because we have a significant population of immigrants who might come from countries where the driving rules are different. Like my old when I worked for a bank in Australia, half the team was in Bangalore, India, and my boss went. And he was like, bro, when I fucking went, these guys are like driving up each other. He goes, I thought I was going to die. And then you get used to it because the driving's just different and it works different. And then he came back and he was driving in Australia like he was driving in Bangalore in India, because it was like a different format. It's probably the same as Asia.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I
that's
can't
all
speak,
I've heard.
I can't speak to that. I don't know. I don't know about all that, but there's plenty of folks who were born and raised here and still don't know the zipper merge concept. No, I'm serious.
You're right.
It's people think that they have to get into the first open spot they see as soon as they come on. But there's an on-ramp is one of the longest on-ramps that in Ottawa for sure. Coming from Carling, going going eastbound on the 417 here in Ottawa. Okay. The on-ramp is like half a kilometer long. It's so long, but there's so many people slowing down as soon as the lanes meet, and I'm like, no, just keep going. You've got so much more room. You've got so much more room. Go down to the end where you can come in to just get let in. You've got so much more room. This traffic does not need to be backed up this far.
Dude, I'm so glad to hear an Ontarian, like someone who's born and raised here, say this. The other thing, everything I'm saying is I've been I talk to a lot of people about this because I want to understand. I feel like there's a selfishness where people won't let you in. Countless times where people have proactively, I need to get in, say, and there's the lanes ending, and they'll just, I'm nearly, 20 meters from the end, and they'll just drive forward and block you from getting in.
Yeah, there is. Well, so there's I think there's two problems with this. Okay. One, yes, you're absolutely right. There's a thing that people won't let you in, but also people think that you need to take that that first opening that come when the lanes meet, even though you've still got a whole length of on ramp in front of you. You should be moving up to the front. You should be moving, you
that's
absolutely
interesting.
should be moving up to the front. But the problem is, people don't want to let you in when you move up to the front because they think you're being
They think
a
you're
dick.
pushing in the line.
Because they think you're being a dick. But no, that's what you're supposed to do.
Where the
That,
lane merges.
That's how zipper merging is meant to work. You're meant to use the whole length of it.
I never thought of it like that, and that is so reasonable and logical. I love that so much because I always try to go a little bit earlier because I know the closer you get to the end, the less chance you have of getting in.
Well, that's that's the thing is that like people act like if you go to the end of the lane, you're being a dick, but like, no, that's what you're supposed to do. And then like, obviously, yes, let someone in if they've gone to the end of the lane, you use the full length of it so that you don't back up the traffic for the rest of the people that are coming onto the highway as well.
That makes so much sense. Do they not teach this in driving schools?
You know what? It's like, I mean, I'm 38 years old right now. I took driving school at 16. I can't remember what they taught us at that point. But
sorry, can you repeat that? You stopped as soon as you said 38 years old, then it stopped.
Oh, I was saying I'm 38 years old. I had took driving school at 16. I don't fucking remember what they taught us about merging on the highway at that time. But I'm going back too far. Anyway, you've been listening to to Ontario Traffic Pod, and
well, this is the other shit, no? We got beer. This is the other shit. So if anyone has any thoughts on traffic and how we can improve and teach people zipper merging, please, drop us a DM, comment below. And back to the Stein size Fest Bier.
Holy shit.
Yeah, thank you for entertaining that. I appreciate that because it is weighing on my soul, bro. This shit is like every day, and I know I saw my friend Scott, our co-host, his wife was posting today about how crazy the drivers are, and I'm like, it's every day, Shells. It's every fucking day. It's it's why it was probably on my mind, but beer's good.
Oh yeah, beer's good.
Beer's great. Traffic not so much. Beer amazing. Oof. But yeah, this is a banger. I feel like this is 5 completely different flavor profiles. Maybe not completely different as fair, but they're very like you would drink all of these. I'm like, this is not. You could taste them all and be like, oh, these are all different.
I would say that this one is the most similar to the Welly Fest Bier.
I can see that. Let me see. Yeah, sipping them back to back, they're actually pretty different, but it's closer. Those two are the closest out of all of these so far. Once again, we still have 4 to go. Yeah, but yeah, I enjoy this one. I think this is also good value for money. Muskoka are a good sort of, I would say, gateway brewery, one of the best gateway breweries as far as all the different styles. They got some great lagers, some great IPAs, and
I would also, I would also say too, they've got one of the best flagship IPAs in the province.
Yeah, Mad Tom is
with Mad Tom, it's it's up there with Headstock for me, from Nickelbrook in terms of like a flagship West Coast IPA. It's excellent. I've enjoyed every can of Mad Tom I've had.
Yeah, Mad Tom's phenomenal. That changed my life in 2011. We should get Muskoka back on. I had him on. I can't remember if it was during COVID or just beforehand, but I remember the whole team were super stoked for it. They were really cool. They were really supportive. So,
and this was before my time. So I would love to have them on.
You know what? It was during COVID because it was virtual. Yeah, so it was during COVID. But yes, I think it would be great for us both to sit with Todd. I think he's the CEO, not the founder, because I think the founder either passed or sold the business, one of the two. But I feel like these guys are just legendary Ontario breweries. So it's always fun to try beers like this from legendary Ontario guys. I don't know how long they've even had this one around, to be honest. This is only the second year that I've seen the big ass can.
I think this is the second year that they've done this in the stovepipe. They have had Fest Bier before with a different label in just the standard tall boy. I remember they've had that before. I couldn't speak to how long, but it has gone back further than the stovepipe one.
Gotcha. Well, the more I'm drinking it, the more I'm enjoying it. So this is
a fantastic, this is good. This is good. I like this.
Yeah, quite enjoying this one. So I guess because we invested the time into traffic with this one, we'll probably move on to the next one, and maybe we'll talk about beer again.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got some more thoughts on traffic probably, but
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I'll keep that for another pod. All right, so this one This is an interesting one. This is from a brewery that neither of us have ever had anything from before. I've always
That's right.
been meaning to try. We were talking about it off air and realized that neither of us have had anything. So it's very cool. These guys are in the LCBO too.
Yeah, and this is another rare combo of brewery and coffee roaster.
They're coffee roaster?
They are.
No flipping shit.
Yeah, man.
Well, fucking. Oh, that's funny. It says, "Don't be a Larry Litterer." Recycle this can. I like that, Larry Litterer. They used to have a thing. It was "Keep Australia Beautiful." It was like an advertising campaign in like the 90s. It was a good one. Reminds me of that. Stockyards. This is their Fest Bier. This is the same Stockyards that's in the area next to Reinhard, like literally next to Reinhard and Junction, right?
No. These guys are in Kitchener.
Oh, what's that brewery I'm thinking of called? They're not called Stockyards.
Oh, you're thinking of Shacklands.
Oh, I haven't had them. Okay, I didn't even know these guys. I have nothing from them. Okay, that's even more fun. Okay, dope. Waterloo. You're right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why did I think it was the same thing? Maybe because the area is called Stockyards and they're called Shacklands.
I think that's what you're thinking of. That's what you're thinking of.
Okie dokie. All right, I get it. Okay.
So I think these guys might not be the brewery that you were thinking of when we were talking about this before we recorded.
Not even close. But I also have not had anything from these guys.
Neither have I.
If I've heard of them, I bet you I fucked up and confused them with Shacklands. So this one says it's a traditional Bavarian. If I can move my fingers here, traditional Bavarian Fest Bier. So, you got that part. Oh, I should have got that one. I got the IPA glass instead. Shouts to Mike at Gather. Look at that. Keep
all of this gorgeous glassware.
Oh, this one. This is interesting.
This one is another one that has like a gorgeous head on it.
Yeah, this is like this is very much like the left field.
Yes, it is like the left field. On camera, it's showing a little darker than it looks in person, but this is definitely in line with it looks more like it looks more similar on camera for me than it does for you even, but this is definitely totally more like a golden straw in color.
Yep, this looks like just like a slightly cloudy Pilsner type vibe.
Yeah.
I didn't pour aggressive enough. I should have gone harder because I know that this glass can handle the size pause.
It can.
Excuse me. So let me pull this up on Untapped and give that little reading out as we've been doing. So Stockyards. I brought this up just before. Where are you, you little fucking... You're not there, are you, mate? Stockyards Fest Bier. All right. So... Well, this is this won the 2021 Ontario Brewing Awards for bronze, I guess, for the style. Brewed using traditional German floor malted Pilsner malt and Bavarian grown Hallertau Mittelfrüh hops. Provide moderate business to balance. Why did I say provide? Oh, because it's back there. To balance the rich malt while its crisp, clean finish comes from weeks of cold lagering. Prost. Everybody be saying Prost, you German fucks. So, all right, nose. I wonder if I'm getting palate fatigue heavy at this point. Bready malt. Smells a little sweet. There's something else, almost like citrus or something.
It's starting to get hard to pick out at this point, and I'm not smelling anything sweet, but I'm wondering if I'm just.
I feel like I got an inferior nose. My nose is fucked. I had a lot of colds when I was in my teenage years, and every time a doctor sticks a little thing up there, they're like, "Do you do a lot of cocaine?" I'm like, "No." Jesus, I've had it multiple times. I'm like, I must have fucked my shit up from being sick so much. I think it was just from smoking as in my teens, and now I feel I haven't slept well lately. This whole last few days, so I feel like
that can fuck with you.
You know what I'm saying? It makes I feel like mild, and then the weather's getting a little bit colder, so you're like mild. I'm not congested, but you just probably restricts a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're just not as sensitive. But I'm keen to try this, mate. Get that up here. Cheers. Cheers to Zipper Mergers. Okay. I think it's good. I don't know if we're like becoming. This is number 6. Are we becoming palate blind? Do we need some chips or something to kind of like fix it up? Because I almost feel like everything's like I don't know if we're giving them a fair shake.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
What are you getting?
I'm gonna take another sip.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing.
So I find this one drinking very clean. I'm finding this one very dry. I'm getting next to no sweetness in this one.
No. There's something else going on as well.
There's like I'm getting a minerality to it.
That's a good word for it. What is that delivering? Is it like
it's kind of hard to describe. Like it's something that it's something to do with the water profile.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know water in the Kitchener Waterloo area like is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yes, it is.
Same as Hamilton.
Like everyone in Kitchener and Waterloo has water softeners in their house because their water is naturally very hard.
Okay.
So it's like high, like there's like high mineral content, and I don't know the chemistry exactly behind it, but but I think that could have something to do with what I'm tasting in just kind of like it's not metallic, but like there's just like a different mineral kind of flavor to the water profile. I am finding the malt flavor a little more muted in this one than in some of the others. Like there's not a prominent breadiness to it, and I'm not getting much in the way of there's not really a spiciness to the hop profile either. There's a bit of bitterness. I do get some bitterness, but otherwise it's very subtle.
That's a good point. I'm starting to wonder if we need like a salty palate cleanser between this, just to kind of break it up.
Well, why don't we maybe do a quick pause? We can go and have a bathroom break, and maybe we can each go grab something to cleanse our palates and come back.
I think that's not a bad idea. All right, y'all. We'll see you in a sec.
Okay.
And we are back.
And we're back. We've had our snacks.
I actually kept mine here. I just want to shout these out. If Aussies know, these are Australian. This is my last packet. This is a bit mashed up because it came on a plane. Look, I fucked up the boxes.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but Arnott's. Arnott's is a very large company. If you ever would sponsor us, that would be life-changing. This is the greatest thing you could ever put in your mouth aside from beer. So it's nice and salty. Hopefully, we'll cut some of the sweetness out that I think we need to continue to have between these beers because I don't know. Normally, you and I would be the type to switch up the styles in any given drinking session. This is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like the advice that we got from Bebo and Chris when it was Chris even who was saying that I think you're right. I think it was Chris who was saying that like he never has 2 hazies back to back.
And that was why the way they split it up in the pod, it was actually quite odd to us.
Yeah, not the way that we would typically do it. I think we went pale ale first and and then kills or something like that, which sounded a bit off to us, but actually made a lot of sense when he got into it.
Totally did, and it changed the way I always try to at the very least have a full glass of water between, but I like to split up the hazies with a Westie at the very least. Like that has definitely been something that I think I learned from that pod, which was that this year or last year?
That was this year.
Fuck. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So any final thoughts? So we've had some chips now. Got a bit of salt on our palate, that cleaned it out a little bit. So taking another sip now.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still getting a lot of the same notes. There's something interesting about it that tea astringency I think is in this one as well.
I taste a bit of that.
There's something that's a little distracting me from the malt profile.
Yeah, the malt profile is a bit more subdued in the in this one than some of the others. It's not
like you said, muted
coming
is
through.
Probably a good word.
It's not coming through as prominently. The carbonation is coming. It's like the carbonation is not sharp. I would not call it sharp, but I'm
No.
just noticing it more because the malt profile is a bit more is a bit more muted. Is the only thing. It's reading a bit thinner as a result.
Yeah, which I imagine isn't the intention at 5.5.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, it could be a canning thing. It could just be, maybe I don't know if they've done this one before.
Or maybe they were just aiming for maybe they were
for
aiming
something
for
different.
Something lighter. That could very well be. I'm like I don't dislike it. I'm not enjoying it.
No, not at all. No, I don't think it's flawed necessarily.
No.
It's just they're all like the easiest word is just overwhelming. It's a lot to soak all of these up and try. Although they are quite different, it's just now number 6. I feel like maybe that's what will happen to us with the pumpkin stuff as well, that by the time you got to this, you're just like, Jesus, like this is a lot. Like it's just a lot of a same. I would never drink this many lagers in a session. I kind of feel like, that the lager obsessed dudes, like the Lagerbrow in Montreal dudes, and like Melon probably, and like Godspeed, you just drinking like lagers back to back. I just feel like it's fucking awesome. It's just a lot.
Yeah. Although we've done it,
we've done
it a couple of times though. Like we did it with Godspeed. We did it with True History. Like that's.
You know why? It was all different styles. This is all the one style. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I think you are correct because we did that with those cats. This is different because it's all the same style. Where they were all
you're right.
different styles.
You're absolutely
right. And you can if you have only lagers with different styles. I didn't feel this way at all. I didn't feel any palate fatigue. I just felt rock hard.
True. It's true. I didn't either.
This is more reminiscent of the pumpkin pod than Godspeed or True History.
Like more than I might have expected.
Yeah, I thought I was like, no, this is bad by any means. It's just more, I thought it would be a little more straightforward, but because the beers are like the nuanced as opposed to just like face punch. If you had 6 hazy IPAs in a row, it's probably the exact same thing where you can start to barely taste the difference between them after a while.
Yeah.
If that's fair. But this is solid. And I love that it's it says Waterloo here on the can. You say Kitchener, same shit though. Do you remember?
It says. Okay, wait a minute. Does it say Waterloo on the can? Because because on the can here I see it says Kitchener.
No way. Mine says Waterloo. Wait, my battery died. See if you can keep getting that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get this to zoom in. Okay, here we are. Kitchener.
Oh my god, it says. Okay, wait. I'm putting my battery in right now. Oh, that is fucking hilarious. Check this. Hey, wait a minute. Keep holding.
No fucking way.
That is fucking funny.
Oh, that's so funny.
And I'm sitting there like thinking that you're wrong or whatever. Nope. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Good for you guys. So that means we have different batches. What is your date code?
What is my date? It's okay. Hang on.
Mine is 1209. 24.
Mine is also 1209.
So they got different labels.
So what does it say on your can under Waterloo, Ontario? What's the little code there?
It's 5442204.
Okay, mine says 5441357.
Interesting. Stockyards, if you have any thoughts, let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
I wonder if no, it can't be. I just wonder if they have different maybe older labels. Maybe one of them is older.
Yeah, maybe.
From like a previous year, so they were running through those first before going to the next one. That's the only thing I can think of. Or it was brewed at a different facility, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't
particularly
know.
For the same package date.
I'd be very curious to find out.
Oh, totally. I would genuinely love.
I'm wondering if they like this must have just been a different labels thing, and and just kind of a different palette got sent out to the different regions or something.
Well, I mean, we're getting the same flavor profile from it, so.
Oh, I have no doubt that it's the same beer. I think this is I think this must just be a labels thing.
Interesting. That's fascinating because I was just like, what are you talking about, Kitchener? It says Waterloo. I know you're from here, so maybe you're like a little more liberal with it, whereas like I'm a little more specific because I don't know. You might be like, oh no, they're from the north end of town of Waterloo. That's basically Kitchener or some shit like that, you know?
Well, that's that's my stomping ground. I mean, I went,
you went to uni there, right?
Yeah. I went to University of Waterloo. So
what's it? University of Waterloo, right?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Like actually in Waterloo, I know the division between Kitchener and Waterloo, but yeah, I was just reading what the label said.
I'm sorry, I wasn't questioning you. I'd never question you, Nathaniel.
Oh, wouldn't you now?
I'll question the shit out of you. All right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of questioning me, you know, I just realized I'm a fucking idiot. I had laid out a Muskoka glass here, but I didn't use it for for the Muskoka beer. I just realized that. Thankfully, I realized it when we paused, and I went and grabbed another glass because I'm not going to use a Muskoka glass for one of the other beers now, like a fucking idiot. But
well, if you want you know what? I just want to echo that. I realized as I was pouring the Wellington Fest Bier, I have 2 Wellington glasses in my thing upstairs,
and you didn't grab either of them.
Didn't grab either of them. I'm a
you
special
piece
kid.
of shit.
I also have multiple Muskoka glasses now. I didn't even consider that. Dumb as dog shit, Nate.
Dumb as dog shit. Here we go.
Australia. All right, next one.
Yep, let's do it.
All right. This is the final.
What was Australia about that?
I thought dumb as dog shit is a pretty Aussie saying. Do you guys say it?
Oh, is it?
I thought it was.
I didn't peg that as a regional thing, but I think I think it just works because of the alliteration. I wouldn't even say that's a regionalism.
Have you heard it before?
Yes, I've heard it before.
Okay, so it's probably not Aussie then. There's probably a lot of things that we grew up saying that I think, even though I've been here long enough, I don't know if I've heard anyone say it. Maybe I shouldn't try to claim everything that happens, you know?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that is like incredibly common, but I've definitely heard it before.
Okay. I love it. Well, that was a nice little self-flagellation, as it was.
Yep.
I heard that word today somewhere, flagellating it. I was like, I think it just means whipping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whipping yourself. Yeah.
I think
it's what it was. It didn't seem like sexual. I think I heard it on a podcast. I was like, it's a good word. I'm trying to bust that out. You know?
Yeah, it is a good word.
So,
all right, here we go.
Final Ontario Fest Bier from our good mates at Anderson Craft Brewing in London.
Ontario.
London, Ontario. This is a 5.6% Fest Bier. Now, this is which you actually told me today is formerly known as Autumn. Excuse me.
Correct. Now I should clarify. I am not certain if this is the exact same recipe as when it was called Autumn. I think it is. I'm like 75% sure. But if Gavin or anyone else at Anderson wants to confirm or deny that for us, we'd appreciate it. But I'm fairly certain that this is the same beer that Autumn used to be.
The baby. Gotcha. So I had this the other night because this was the other one in the 6-pack.
As did I.
Never a bad thing to have Anderson beers on Deckington anyway. Like obviously their West Coast IPA is fucking incredible.
Yes.
Now this is a 5.6. The verbiage on the can, a smooth, clean, pale German style lager with see the same here. Yep, with a moderate malty flavor and a light hop character.
Yeah. So
this is the next level up. So the last 3 beers were 5.5%. This is now 5.6%. I have here, I see my brother is texting me with beers that he is drinking, which is nice to see. Love to see that. Love that. In Vancouver. Or Whistler, whatever the fuck it is. Now, let's have a look at this one. Oh, you get the Anderson glass. Of course you do.
Yes, indeed.
I had to go a bit of a zen and get it in your glass.
Never a bad choice.
Never a bad choice. Now, this is definitely more on that sort of deep golden vibe that BJCP was talking about.
Yeah, I would say this is about that deep golden vibe. And it's interesting because we were just talking before this because we had been talking about this beer, and I sent you a picture of what this beer used to look like as Autumn, and it was like a really, really bright orange.
Yes, you actually sent a photo beforehand, and it was
and and not even copper, but I'm really talking like orange is what it looked like.
Do you know? Did they claim it to be a Fest Bier for Autumn?
I don't remember. This is going back a couple of years since I last had it branded as autumn. So
Okay.
so I can't remember, unfortunately.
Okay. So this is like a traditional fest beer. 5.6. So it's in that SRM of what they're saying there. Of exact. So when I say what they're saying, what BJCP is saying, the nice fluffy head, lots of clarity, a little bit of chill haze, which is what I think I'm getting here. Nose is, yours is more accurate, I feel like, than mine. Mine is looking like a little more amber, but it's in person, it's not this amber.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe it's the lights are a little too sharp, but it's funny because the lights shine through the beer. What I'm seeing is reality, but what the camera sees is not, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely bready. I feel like I'm getting a little of the spices, and there's also an interesting. The only way to describe it, and I might be off, is like farmhouse.
Yeah, there's some and we discussed this off air before. There's something a little strange going on with this one that I didn't quite recognize from previous iterations of this beer.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something that's resembling like an estery saison kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like going on to it, which feels unintentional.
Particularly
For this style, the aroma is coming off a bit weird on this one.
Yeah, and I thought it might have been the can that I had, but then I saw other people check in on Untapped and say essentially the same thing, as far as there's something interesting going on about this. People were saying it tasted like a fest beer brewed with a farmhouse or like wheat beer yeast.
Yeah, there is something kind of saison-y coming off with this to me. There's an estery kind of like banana or clovey sort of vibe to it, which is which is not at all stylistically right,
No. So
and
first of all, go.
Give it a taste. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Okay, this is the same as when I had it the other night.
Same.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Gavin, because obviously Wellington are great too. Anderson, we're big fans of Anderson.
We are.
Like I said, when we had the pod, and then I think you sent us like a 6-pack of their IPA, and that was joyous.
It was.
Their IPA is so good.
It's one of my favorite flagship IPAs in the province.
Easily, and a beautiful Westie, and it was just such a pleasure having. I think honestly, I credit that podcast and that beer for making me buy Bell's Two Hearted in the 6-pack or in a 12-pack and keep that around. I got some which I think you might have grabbed the Triple Crossing one as well. I've been keeping that, so just like shorty Westies that are around 7%. God tier.
Money.
So that was inspired by Anderson. So I want this to all of this to say that both of us are very large fans of Anderson.
Absolutely, and I am in particular a fan of previous iterations of this beer. Like Autumn is what I previously remember having under the brand Autumn. Was one of my favorite lagers that Anderson put out. And that's one of the reasons that I was excited to have this new Fest Bier branded one of it. So I have a feeling that this is not what they intended for this one, and this does not taste like an Anderson lager. There's it feels like there's something off with this one. And this does not feel this does not feel like the best representation of what they can do with this style, because I've had it before and have absolutely loved it, and this is not quite it.
I couldn't agree. It's just like how do I say it? There's no way that those flavors are associated with a fest beer in a brewery that is so exceptional with these maybe more traditional styles. Like their Pilsner is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Vienna, I think we had maybe even a Schwarzbier, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
and I don't even need to extrapolate to think this, because I've had this beer from them before, and it's been much, much better than this.
So I feel like it's either a bad batch, and then what are you
Mhm.
going to do in this economy? You just got to fucking ship. It is what
Yeah.
it is. It's not. It's far from horrendous. I think what you said. This is not what the brewers intended it to be.
Yeah. I think
And
like yeah, the only thing that I can say on this is if you've had this one this year, I don't think this is the best representation of what they can do. I think that I think they do better than this, and I would not judge them on this.
No, not even close. Yeah, it's just interesting. 'Cause once again, just like I had the Sam Adams in this one the other night, and it's what to see what they were like before the pod, and because we had so many of them, I was like sick, got to drink more Fest Biers. It was interesting because both of them, I just thought it was maybe my initial theory was maybe it's just a one-off can. Whereas, the Sam Adams was a little like, look explosive. It was leaking a little bit. The carbonation was a bit odd. It was tasting a bit off. And then this one it had that funk, like you said, the funk, that cloves are definitely not a flavor profile associated with Fest Bier, as we just went through in the BJCP. So I'm feeling like it's hard to know if it's all of it. I mean, this is there's no batch number. It's just 5th of September, 24. Is that what you got?
I can't make out the stamp clearly enough on mine.
Yeah, it's very like stretched on the bottom, the outer rim there. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame because I wouldn't want, like kind of what you said, I would never want anyone to judge Anderson on this because they are truly a fantastic brewery.
They are.
This does not represent their typical output, and I want to be super kind to them because we're both such fans, and I was stoked I saw it as a 6-pack, and I think I messaged you. I'm like, I don't see singles for either of these ones, and you were like, yeah, they're 6s. I'm like, I didn't even have some. All right, cool, buy them, no problem, because I know Sam Adams is great and I know Anderson's great.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of like basically rare misses from these guys. I would still encourage people to check it out in case this could be bad batch, bad luck on our part.
I hope.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me think I'm not sure was the other folks on Untapped. Someone commented and essentially, sometimes people do like 2-sentence reviews on their thing. Someone else commented on someone who said all the same things, like, oh, thank you. I thought I was going crazy. I thought my palate was like, something was going on with my palate. So I feel like I'm like, okay, this is more than just me thinking this, and then you had it, and then so
yeah.
Either way, Anderson.
The only other thing I'll add is if you do try it, like Anderson does, has also been putting out their flagship IPA in Tall Boys and LCBOs now. So if you are gonna grab a 6-pack of this, I would definitely recommend grabbing one of the Tall Boys of their IPA because that shit is dope.
Yeah, exactly. Just to rate the Westie IPAs and Talls, yeah?
Yeah.
Love that. So that's like Matron doing Danky and Dees.
Exactly.
In that, which I love. So this is another one. So essentially, this is the final Ontario one. I feel like we kind of dug pretty deep in this one. I feel like we could probably... Do we want to just cruise straight on to the last couple?
Yeah, let's move right on.
All right. So, German time. I just want to cleanse this palate a little. So, this next bad boy, once again, we organize this based on...
You know what?
ABV.
Sorry, if I can just interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost need one more bathroom break before we do these last two Germans, just before
that sounds glorious.
Before we properly get into this. Can we do that?
Don't go to us. Don't ever have to tell me twice about bathroom breaks.
All right.
We'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty. Nate.
And we're back again.
We are drinking German beer.
Yes, we
are. It's time we actually drink beer from Germany.
Yes.
So one of the beers, you know what? I'm looking at it. This is not the beer that I thought that we were drinking. This is actually... Oh, tell me have we got different ones?
No, we got the same one.
Oh, we got the same one. Did they have the... You remember we were talking about the Weisner or whatever? one?
So maybe it was the Hofbräu that we were thinking of for that.
Could have been that then. I thought it was this one. So this is one of the guys who changed the game in the 1970s. Interesting.
Yep.
This has I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese. Actually, no, I see Korean on here too. Bunch of different.
This is just in a bunch of different languages here.
Yeah, on the back. So I guess it's the import can that they probably do. Now this is a 6% Oktoberfest beer with the space. The original from Munich Oktoberfest. So this is like probably as fucking real as it gets for us.
Yeah.
Which is extraordinarily exciting as far as like we've had all this yap for all of this time tonight about is this 2024? Because I saw there was a 2024 check-in, but I don't see a thing. I imagine it is. I can't imagine this will be from last year. So I don't see a write-up in here because it's just in. Okay, there might be something on Untapped. There's nothing on Untapped.
But I feel like we've contextualized this one enough already.
Yeah, I feel like this is just so we know the importance of this particular bad boy.
Yep.
Personally, extraordinarily excited for this. Well, you went the Nonic pint.
I did.
What did you say to me the other day when you're like, oh, you got that right between the Nonic bulge or something?
The Nonic bulge.
That was that cracked me the fuck up. I sent Nate a picture. Look at the clarity. This is the clearest beer I think we've had today.
Oh yeah.
My goodness. Shasta Triple Crossing in Richmond. Yeah, that just made me laugh. I think I sent you a photo of. Oh, it was speaking of them before, a True Hearted.
Yes.
And then you were like, "Oh, you got the
yeah,
pour."
Yeah, the headline came right in the in the bulge that's on the Nonic pint, and I, without thinking much of it, called it the Nonic bulge, and that just cracked him right up.
Obviously, you say bulge. I'm gonna lull. I'm basically 12 on the inside. You know, I guess aren't we all, guys? For the fellas listening. All right. Nice. I haven't had this. I'm very excited. So once again, the OG Fest Bier from the 70s. It says the original. I guess that's kind of a bit of a boost now that we know what the truth is.
Yes.
6%. So it's the strongest one yet. Beautiful, fluffy head. The actual. This is interesting because yours is like fucking crystal clear. Mine is what you're seeing there. This is just like haze on the glass, not even haze inside the beer. So, sir, Prost. Get that in.
Cheers.
Great head.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
subtle,
So this
bready.
is super bready aroma, I find.
Really bready.
Yeah.
Little touch of was it soft, sweet impression of sweetness?
Yep.
Okay. That's glorious.
Yep.
I don't know if
this is the real deal here.
You can tell it's the real deal. There's something a little different about this. I wouldn't say it's leaps and bounds away from everything else because I really feel like this is probably what everything else was trying to do because this is the original of this style of the Fest Bier that we know it today outside of Germany, I guess, as far as North America and beyond. This is great, man.
Yeah.
Let's. So wow, this is fantastic. It's still, I will say, I almost wish I might have to get a second can of this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is a lot to take in this context. This is beer number 8 of the same style.
It would be great to have an entire can of this as your first beer of the night.
Yeah. I could not agree more. And that's what I did with the next beer. I bought 2 bottles of the Hofbräu and I drank that the other night just because I was like, I just want to see. I just want to see what's going on.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I should have done the same with this one. I don't know why I didn't.
Well, you know I don't think you'll have any trouble getting another can of it.
No, it was very easy to get.
That's the thing is that and that's one of the reasons that we're doing this is that if you have any interest in Fest Bier at all, we would very much encourage you to try as many of these as possible. And like this is probably one of the easiest ones that you'll have to find anywhere in the province.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? One of the best things, I forgot to mention this. One of my biggest problems in the LCBO, I was wandering around going to the different areas trying to find all the beers. But there's an end cap in basically every store. Now they didn't have all 9 of these in every store. They didn't have all of them in every position in every end cap, but in the end cap kind of right in front of the beer fridge and I went to 3 different LCBOs to get all these. That's where all the Oktoberfest beers were. So they had the Hofbräu, they had the Sam Adams 6-packs, they had Welly, they had Creemore, they had Muskoka, they had, a bunch of them were right there. Some of the rest were in the beer fridge, but I was like, oh, that's pretty handy. So I was just like, oh, yoink, yoink. That was great. And that's when I was standing in front of the end cap when I texted you and was like, yo, I'm only seeing these Sam Adams. And then I asked the dude and he said, LCBO worker went by and he was like, hey, you good? And I was like, yeah, do you have, are these in singles? He's like, no. Then I'd already texted you and then you responded seconds later being like, nah, it's only 6s. I'm like, well, cool. Guess I'll get all these 6s then. So they made it really easy for you to find, and they did the exact same thing with the pumpkin beers inside the fridge this year. I think last year they're in the fridges too, for the LCBOs to have the big fridges. But that made it so easy to source it all. And you might have to go to a couple. Both of us went to a few LCBOs to grab all 9 of these. You might not want all 9 because it's a lot, but you spread it out. You have 1 per night amongst your other beers that you're drinking. It's fucking sweet.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend having all 9 of them in one night. But
I wouldn't even say I wouldn't necessarily. I would absolutely not.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
It's definitely much too much. Just like it was having 10 pumpkin beers in one night. It was too much.
Yep.
This is just a little overkill. If you had, say, like a Pilsner, they're really dry, really bitter, and lighter. Or if you had like a Helles, or you had a fucking American Light Lager, or then you had a Dunkel, and then you had a Schwarzbier. They're all so different. When we're having 9 beers of the same style, it's by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh.
That said, though,
That
said, I feel like if I come back to those notes that we were looking at the start of the night with like for Fest Bier, like this feels like it's hitting that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I would say I'd literally writing this right now for the review, just writing some notes. This is the benchmark.
Exactly.
I think this is the baseline that everyone wants to achieve.
And of all of the ones that we had prior to this, Left Field definitely hit this mark the best.
I would say absolutely unequivocally of the local ones, or ones that aren't from Germany. Because we have Canada and the US, Left Field easily were the closest. And
yes,
like even if you just put them side by side, looks almost identical.
Like you could barely tell the difference between those two.
Yeah. The nose is pretty different, but this is probably not fair. It's been sitting here warm for an hour.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like doesn't have the head no more. Carbs obviously disappeared, but so I won't even sip it to compare because I don't think that's fair. But just so. In appearance, yes,
straw in color, like wouldn't even call that like even close to amber or copper, like that is golden straw through and through. And
couldn't agree more. Yep,
that is
golden straw.
Yep, that is like medium caramel sweetness, but like nothing, but absolutely not even approaching anything cloying.
No. Low to medium bitterness.
Yep, low to medium bitterness. There is not a hint of astringency there.
Yeah.
Like this is this is perfect here.
It's you know what? It would have almost been worse if we had this first.
I think so. Like honestly, to have this late on the game, like this is a real treat.
I'm absolutely getting more of these cans. I can't believe that. And also keep this in mind. This was imported, which means it was not treated. If you and I were in Munich, this would be a different experience. Yeah. This is like having, when we always talk about having a Pilsner or a Cal, and it's been all these fucking ships or whatever it is, because I don't imagine it's cold chain shipped. And having this beer that's been in a can and then cold and then warm and then cold and then warm and all this shit, like,
and having had Pilsner Urquell in the like here in Canada multiple times, I feel like it doesn't travel well. It just does not taste like it's of the caliber that it should be.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, and it's not fair. You and I guess I've been to Germany 20 years ago, for December 2004, so nearly almost 20 years ago. And I remember drinking Bitburger and having like bratwursts.
Yeah,
and
same.
Loving it, but not appreciating it because like 20 years ago, Nate and Cee would not have had any clue on what the hell we were doing. We were just like, yeah, we're drinking beer and fucking drinking sausages, like imagine now we would sit here with I don't think there's anywhere higher on my bucket list than Germany and Czech Republic.
Yeah.
For Crispies.
I'm enjoying the shit out of this. Like this feels like a real treat right now. Like I almost can't believe that we get to drink this. Like I'm definitely getting some more of this. This is really good.
I can't believe how good this fucking shit is, and I just feel like it's like I'm giving this high ass ratings right here. It's exactly. Oh, someone says flat. No, you bitch. It is exactly what I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
And I think going into this, when we had our list, I was going into the list with just get the fucking beers. I wasn't really thinking about what they were. And the only one I got, because I got the Hofbräu, I think I went two days apart. So I got the Hofbräu and I grabbed an extra bottle and I had that, whatever, that night or the next day, or this past weekend. And I should have done the exact same with this one. Mm-hmm. Not thinking, but we only learned about the history in the last 2 hours. So it was, this is so impressive. And I understand, like, when you see people dressed in the lederhosen and they're in the beer tents and they're, all like, like my uncle's been and like other friends I know that have been, and like, you see their videos and stuff and you see all the people with the 1 liter Steins. You see those incredible waitresses where they're getting like 8 of them and then putting another 8 on top and then another one on top of that and they're carrying them all out like superheroes. And this is what they're drinking. This is what they're fucking drinking. And I'm like,
yeah, I get it.
I get it, bro. This is the experience, man. Like, this is so top. I just don't think there's anything that's gonna top it. I feel like this is just glorious, and it's. I don't know. You and I have had a real crispy renaissance over the last however many years. Like, I don't know, 4, 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
As far as the deep, like I'd say in the last 3 really seriously, but last 4 to 5 maybe like slowly. I can pitch. Do you remember when you specifically like were like changed into like be like, oh, Crispies are the shit? Do you have a moment?
I remember like maybe 6 years ago, like 6 years ago or so, like I went on a real mission to kind of try to expose myself to more. Okay. But I feel like it's probably more sooner in the last 3 or 4 years that I kind of like didn't even need to work to reach for them. Like that's kind of when I kind of really started to want them. Like, like it wasn't an effort. Like it was like, that's when I was excited to have them. And like, and I just started to want them,
I absolutely align. I think my timeline was the same as far as really wanting them, but I have 2 moments from 2019. One of them was in July when I went to, which is where I got this glass, Triple Crossing in Richmond, Virginia. And we were supposed to do a pod, but we were with the tourism guys. So the dude said he didn't have enough time, but we hung out there for an hour and a half. We could have done a pod. But we did a tour and he gave me a try of everything. And it was my first ever pour of Luca, on a beer on a Luca. And it was their beer called Pathway Pils. To this day, it's still my favorite Pilsner. And this is the official glass for it. And it was the first time I ever had a Luca Pill. And I remember being like, what in the fuck? Like, Crispies are cool, but like, this is next level. Like, I couldn't believe how good it was. Yeah. And then the second time was probably the August, only like the next month. We used to go to this music festival called Afropunk every year. I guess we went 2017, 18, and 19. And obviously 2020, everything I don't know if I don't even know if it's still going, but it was beautiful because we went to New York for like 5 days every year. And one of them we did or two of them we did the Where to Drink in New York vlogs. And we went to a beer bar. Oh, God, it's going to be in Brooklyn. It starts with T. Toast. And it was the end of the night. This was like stop like 6 of the day. I think we were at I think we did the podcast with Beer Wax, and we went to Other Half, and we went to Grimm and Interborough, and then we went up to there, maybe somewhere else as well in between. And I had a Suarez family slow pour, and they did the 3-step slow pour, and it had the thing where it was in like the stemmed glass, and then the head was like an inch over the top of the glass, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. So I remember those 2 moments would just like open my eyes, because there were 2 in like a month apart in the same summer. And then after that, then you sort of realize that I think we did the episode with Godspeed the year before. I think it was 2018. So like I was introduced to it, but they weren't doing Czech beers back then. No. So then it was maybe over the pandemic, both you and I were just getting into it more. Maybe there was some, Silo in Quebec and Lagerbrau, and then obviously Godspeed. And
I can think of one moment for myself too before that, like exactly kind of like you were talking about there. But there was one moment for me where I remember it was in September of 2019. Okay. That my wife and I that my wife and I went down to Vermont, and we stayed at a hotel that had like a really dope restaurant with a really, really good tap list in it. And
was that downtown Burlington?
No, it wasn't in downtown Burlington. It was actually in Essex. It was which is just outside, just outside Burlington.
I know, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It was like Essex Culinary Resort or something like that. But their restaurant had a great tap list, and there I had a Von Trapp Fest Bier. And that was like a religious experience. It was so fucking good. Oh my God. It was so good. And I was really only like just on the cusp of like really breaking through on Crispies at that point. And that one sticks out in my mind like nothing else. It was so cool. So good.
You mentioned that, and it reminds me, we did a pod because we did a thing with the Vermont tourism folks in 2018. And we went to Von Trapp. We did a podcast with Sam from Von Trapp, and all we drank obviously was all their Crispies, but I don't even think that was enough. I remember like, oh wow, this is fucking incredible. Our Kolsch is so different from a Pilsner. It's so different from a Helles. So that was like the first, like, I feel like for you had the religious, mine was, I think that was like a baseline to be like, oh, this can be really good if you do it properly. Like this is like God tier shit. Yeah. And then, okay. So like, all of that to say that you and I are both crispy fiends, and this is something like, our podcast, we decided this pretty last minute to do this, literally over the weekend. We're like, all right, we got some time next week. Let's fucking just do it. Just like we did with the pumpkin stuff. And, this we're coming at this as extraordinary enthusiasts of the style. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know about you, but I guess it's got to be, I imagine, both of our favorite crispy style.
Oh, 100%. No question.
Yeah. With a quick short, right behind it would be a Czech Pilsner. But like a Czech Pilsner specifically, then maybe a Helles Lager. But like, this is just so wonderful. And to see the variety, and we've still got one more, to see the variety of within one style. This is, imagine if we did the same thing with Helles Lagers. Maybe we fucking should. Maybe we should do a Pilsner episode and a Helles episode.
I'm down, man. I'm down.
But LCBO, like, this is our point. By the way, we both, like, I came back with a fuck ton from America. I've been drinking them from there. To be honest, this is probably the best of even the ones I've had from the States. Has been some good. The best one I had was probably Schilling from New Hampshire so far. But things were the same. Maybe sometimes a little sweet or a little something. Not sure. Nothing was spectacular. Notch was really good too, I guess, from Massachusetts. But like, maybe we could recreate this and try. I like the LCBO ones because I feel like it's accessible for everybody. So
that's like that. That's where I feel there's value in this. Like we were talking a little bit of like, should we include like some other ones that are non-LCBO ones and
that we both had? Yeah.
But like, I feel like this being like, here's what you can find in the LCBO in this style. I feel like there's more value in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Just for like ease of access for everybody. And once again, that's very Ontario centric. I know we're both based here, but you know, even if you're in Quebec, you probably be able to duck over the border, be able to get them and stuff. So I wonder if we could do this and pick styles. I know we did a Westie, but maybe we could do an LCBO Westie episode as opposed to, because I know we did.
I'm fucking down. I am fucking down. You know what? We're gonna we're
let's
gonna
just do every
that.
style.
Yeah, like let's do it. Like let's maybe let's put a pin in that for like for maybe midwinter if we've got a lull at any point.
I'm so down. Like, you know, even stout, and it could be a variety of stouts. It could be Irish up to imperial type.
Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's maybe make that like a bi-monthly thing.
Yeah, and it's just an easy, chill one where because like, you know, obviously, you know, when we have a guest, it's fucking awesome. We get to hang out with incredible people and hear these stories. These ones are just a little more casual. We can just fucking slap them together. It's just you and I, you know. It's really easy
It's kind of interesting because like we've now gone, I think, 3 years in a row doing a fall episode, just the two of us. The first because last year we did pumpkin, and the year before that it was just kind of a grab bag fall fall beer styles episode.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, I don't remember what it was called, but we just basically did a grab bag of it. Of all fall styles. Like there were Fest Biers, there were pumpkin, there were wet hop. It was kind of like all fall styles.
It was called Fall Extravaganza.
Yeah, there we are.
And we did Tooth and Nail Victory Parade.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is awesome. Great Lakes Pumpkin, Fine Balance Märzens, Bellwood's Bine Hunter, and Four Origins Chai Latte.
There we are.
That was dude, you have such a fantastic memory. I appreciate you immensely for this. I remember that as soon as I'm reading out the beers, I remember all of it. That is so fire because it was summarizing all four beers from Fest Bier to Märzens to wet hop to pumpkin, and whatever the last one was, and the chai latte, like a fun sort of twist on it all. That was a perfect episode because it was all things fall. And then last year, all pumpkin. This year, all Fest Bier. So we'll keep doing it. I think we're going to basically an October episode is going to be on the cards all the time. But I feel like we could, just intersperse these ones. I know we did the Westie one, which was we had 2 from Ontario and 2 from Quebec. But if we make them sort of LCBO specific, I feel like I think the thing is that now the LCBO is full of like a lot of the breweries. There's a lot of fantastic shit available in the LCBO where that wasn't always traditionally the case. There was always some good stuff for sure, but it felt a little fewer and further between. Whereas,
and maybe that's that might not even be the case. It might just be that we hadn't explored it quite as much.
Yeah, yeah, we haven't explored it a lot. Like all the different styles just on the LCBO. If we could do a Pilsner episode, we could do a Helles. And I'm saying that that level of differentiation, Pilsner and Helles, we could do, and we could probably there's probably enough to do just an Irish stout episode or low ABV stout.
Probably.
You could do a sour episode where there's just all different sours from the LCBO. You could sort of we could pick that, and these don't, it's not too expensive to grab these beers.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty sweet, and there's a mix of local stuff and some international stuff. I almost grabbed it, but I had a bunch of shit. But they had like a Rodenbach fruited sour, like that it was on fruit. Where normally they're pretty chill, and I love Rodenbach, so it's very cool. There's a lot of opportunity to do this, and that we can just sort of go through what's going on at any given time, or a lot of the something as simple as a Czech Pilsner, they're probably mostly year round. I would say most of those SKUs, so they're not even like this right now is very seasonal, which is why this episode's coming out like next week. We're recording it now, it comes out next week, like real quick. So y'all can still get these beers for a solid couple of months, I would imagine, as long as they'll last. And they seemed like, even when I went to buy the one that was the bigger shop, the lady when I was doing the checkout was like, "Wow, I didn't realize we had this many Fest Biers or Oktoberfest Biers." I was like, "All right, well, at least even the people working there were aware of the volume of beers that were available."
Yeah.
Wasn't aware of the volume, but they were aware of the style, and we're like, "Oh fuck, I didn't realize we had this many." I'm like, "Yeah, well, we did our research." So it's there's a lot of potential for more of this. This is fucking great, dude.
It really, really is. I'm so impressed. All right, shall we?
I want to
get
keep
into...
drinking it, but yes, you're right.
Yeah. Should we get into the final?
Yep, I definitely. So this beer, this is 6 point. Let me just check the list. 6.3.
Are we tripping? Where the hell did we see did we see the word Weizen on one of these?
You know what? I reckon I saw it at the LCBO, and I reckon you did too.
And I'm now wondering if I did too. Yeah.
I feel like I want to go back and find it, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So this one is the Hofbräu Oktoberfest Bier, which we learned is only one that you can use when you're in Munich. And this is following the Reinheitsgebot. I just saw it on there. This is brewed. It's in Munich, I imagine, right? Yes, it's Munich beer. Munchner Oktoberfest Bier. Fuck, that is so cool, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. I love this shit so much. This is the greatest shit. So the 9th and final beer. My brother's just telling me he's trying to bring beer back. They didn't check a bag to bring beer. I'm like,
he's fucked then.
He brought a bike. He brought a whole mountain bike, but he didn't bring a bag. But he didn't bring a bag because they charged to check bags, I guess, which is fair. If you didn't need much stuff and you got everything you need in your bike shit. For me, I'm checking a bag. I keep seeing that. People are like, "Oh, I can't bring anything back because I didn't check a bag." I'm like, check a fucking bag, bro. Bring beer. Why are you going anywhere if you're not fucking bringing beer? What's the point? Oh, look at that. Look at that clarity, Nathaniel.
Oh, yeah.
Oof. So...
I know this is a Weiss beer glass, but this works pretty fucking well for this. I think that's a sexy pour right there.
Oh, let me show you this glass right here. Oh, you see the
vibes. Whoa, well, yeah. Look at the fucking brag there.
I don't know. Well, you're sitting there drinking all that Pliny. I've seen you drinking that shit. I've seen you.
Yeah, I know you linked me with.
Well, that's what the homies do.
Yeah, that's true.
So. Hofbräu, I don't know much about these guys, but when I had this on last weekend, I was like, this beer was so fucking good. I truly want to get more from these guys. I'm just so impressed in general from this, and it might almost feel like us being fucking creaming over all these German beers is so basic, but I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like this is newer to us, Yeah. This is definitely not the same thing to us, and it's
no, it's a thing of when we went in the early stages of our beer journey, where we were trying the Euro lagers and whatnot. This is this is a stage that we skipped over very much.
Well, no, I went through this stage, but I didn't give a fuck. It's the same level of look at that level of clarity.
But you would have had to have been going through this stage in October, you very easily could have missed this, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yes, this particular style. Yeah, you're right, because I did all of these, all the Euro lagers typically at the beginning. I started January 2011 doing the selfie shit.
Yeah,
and I had some Oktoberfest beers over the years, but I didn't know what it meant. I didn't understand. It was just a different version of a lager. And I remember that I over lagered. I went a little too hard in the beginning just on all European imported lagers and stuff, because there wasn't a lot of diversity. There wasn't a lot of Schwarz beers or Dunkels and all that stuff. It was basically just Helles and Pilsners, where you could barely tell the difference. And if you are newer to beer and you didn't know, you probably didn't appreciate the nuance. Well, when I say probably, I mean definitely. Look at this fucking pillowy ass head. Look at it.
Oh, yeah. And again, pouring absolutely crystal clear, you can read a book through it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is spectacular. and once again, we also have to remember we're having these beers in the least, maybe not the least, but a very imperfect way, in that it's not, it's not shit. It's shipped and it's not being kept cold, and it hasn't probably been stored properly, and and this was on the warm shelf in the main store. I think both times when I saw it, it was always on the warm shelf side.
Oh, this was in the cooler area in the one I got it.
In the event, okay. So every LCBO is different. People don't. I guess I would rather them handle haze that way and keep it in the cooler rather than crispies. But at the same token, when they're imported, I'd probably prefer it as cold as possible, being that they're put through a lot of different environments. But this one, once again, is 6.3. So this is the strongest of the beers tonight, which is probably good for us that nothing's too strong after 9 of these bitches. We did pretty well looking at how much I drank here. I don't know what that would have ended up at. I'm feeling good. But really appreciating what this, what this all means, and really what the style is all about, which is I don't know. If you don't really think about it, there's so much history in a lot of these styles. And
there's a lot of history here for sure.
Yeah, and just seeing what these other fantastic Ontario breweries were inspired by is also very, very cool. And I think this is a great way to bring this bad boy home. So,
yeah,
looking at this clear ass beer right here, mate. Get that in you.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, nose. Very similar to the Paulaner. Bready, toasty.
More of a weedy note. Weedy nose, I would say.
I was gonna say this is very similar to like a Pils, like a typical Pils or a Helles. Maybe a touch breadier.
Yeah, I think so. There's like a weedy thing going on here, more so than some of the others.
Yeah, less caramel. All right, mate. Cheers. Gorgeous. Yeah, it's just so crisp. It's so clean, so dry.
Yeah,
it's got that bready maltiness, little toasty, little bit of caramel. A little bit of bitterness.
And this one is even coming, like, this is another one that's coming off more honey than caramel to me.
It's the second beer that's had honey. What was the other one you said was honey?
Now I can't remember.
Muskoka, I think, or Stockyard, one of them.
Maybe.
One of them you said honey, and it was the perfect descriptor.
Yeah, I'm losing track now. I mean, this is beer number 9 already, so.
Yeah, I would normally not drink.
Don't fucking blame me, but.
No. This is not something that either of us would do in a regular session. This is going a little hard. Even though obviously not all of these are going to be finished because we would die.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fantastic. I feel like it's a little more intense than the Paulaner. The Paulaner is definitely a little softer. This is probably, obviously, it's only 0.3% stronger, so it's not really that. But it's just a little punchy on the caramel side, maybe. Would you say?
I don't know if I'd say that. These are feeling pretty close to me, actually, in intensity. I think what there maybe is a bit more of in this, like there's a bit more of a pronounced bitterness in this, I think.
Yep. Have a little bit of chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shasta shapes.
But man, my God, this is so good.
All these beers.
My God, what have I been doing? Not drinking these every October for the last however long. Like this is magical.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually.
I feel like credit's due. We got there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
like this is what Fest Bier is supposed to taste like. Jesus Christ.
If you are new to the style and are really looking to learn, there are a ton of incredible local options over and above the LCBO too. Like, you don't have to just go LCBO. We just want to do that for ease of access here. But at the very least, that anyone, within Ontario, and I would imagine these two beers, basically anywhere in the world. If you're anywhere in Canada, anywhere in the US, Australia, Europe, Asia, like anywhere you are, obviously Asia, because there is like multiple Asian dialects on the back of this can. So if you're able to get your hands on these two, if anything else, to learn what the style could be, and then you can explore locally. So wherever you are, if you're unable to get, if you're not in Ontario, obviously these Ontario ones won't be available in Quebec. You probably be able to get Sam Adams, but there's a ton of Quebec breweries, I imagine, that would do local versions of it. Although I haven't seen a ton. Have you seen much people talking about it?
I mean, there's some people. There's a few doing it for sure.
I haven't really seen much. I can't, to the point where I can't even think of one. I would imagine Melon something would do it, or Silo, or
like Melon are definitely doing it. I like Mezzo actually are definitely doing an Oktoberfest as well. Yeah, they absolutely did.
Did they do a Fest Bier?
Yes, they did.
Fuck yeah! Sorry, when you say did an Oktoberfest, I assumed event, but you're probably saying an Oktoberfest.
No, I meant the beer.
I'm sorry. Yes, so that's amazing. So look around locally.
I know Four Origins did one from they did one for sure.
Okay, amazing. So then,
yeah, there's a few, definitely.
Fantastic. And I feel like any market that you're in, like I said, I went to Buffalo a couple of weeks ago and I picked up a bunch of stuff from all over. That just anything I saw that said Oktoberfest FestBier, I was just like, yoink, and just grabbing real quick.
Yeah.
It's been fun to try the different takes on them. I'm trying them slowly. Nate and I tonight, we're trying them aggressively. I probably wouldn't recommend that you do this unless you have multiple people to share them with.
Yeah.
It just becomes a lot, but I would say integrate them into your festive beer sessions.
Have one or two per drinking session, and you'll be happy, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been doing. Like I said, yeah, go on.
Yeah. To clarify, by the way, when I say that this is what a Fest Bier should taste like, I mean absolutely no shade whatsoever on on anyone else who's brewing a Fest Bier and creating their own interpretation on it. Like, if you've listened to any of the episode up until this point, we're big fans of any interpretation of of this style, whether it leans more Fest Bier or more Märzen, whether it leans more caramel sweet, whether it leans more amber or leans more gold. Like, we fucking dig this shit. Like that's why we wanted to do this episode, digging deep on as many iterations of these as we could get our hands on. Like, we love this style of beer at this time of year, and we appreciate everyone who's willing to brew one. I just feel like it's worth mentioning that like from a historical context, like, there is something truly special about these ones, to put it in a historical context, from breweries like Paulaner and from Hofbräu. Like, this is truly magical, and the inspiration that all of the other breweries who are making Oktoberfest style beers, whether it be more leaning on the Fest Bier side or leaning on the Märzens side or anything in between, it's a thing of beauty. And and I truly love anyone who is inspired by this style and wants to create their own version of it. I really appreciate it.
Well said. I'm actually writing that down. A thing of beauty might even be the episode name.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
I think that is gorgeous.
I think that summarizes our feelings on this style.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. You nailed it fucking perfectly. I think it's more about like knowing the history, because a lot of us came into craft beer, like, Nate and I were around the same time. Like, I was 2011 probably. Getting into craft beer and knowing the inspiration. Knowing this is the equivalent of knowing Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to know where hoppy beers came from.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of drinking the OGs, say wherever you are. Here in Ontario, the OGs are Great Lakes, like Muskoka, Wellington, a few other breweries like that are probably escaping me right now, that you should just probably try a bunch of beers to be like, okay, this is the breweries, that were around 35 years ago that were fucking killing it. And you're like, these breweries have been around 200 years plus. Yeah. That's insane. Rodenbach was 200 something years when we had, homeboy on the podcast, a master brewer, Rudy. I didn't even like Flanders red ales. Rodenbach completely converted me. I think Rodenbach Classic is one of the greatest beers of all time. It is absolutely spectacular. I can't express it. I would drink it any fucking time. I got like when we did this little thing in 2019, and there was like a lunch, and I got to sit next to him and ate some food that was paired with all the different, Grand Cru and one of the vintage that was specially being imported into Quebec. It was just out of control, and I've got the proper Rodenbach glasses that I bust out, and I've got some stuff in the just whenever I see it,
That's gangster.
it's so amazing to be exposed to that stuff, because it's like, we're arguably, you and I are more of the new school craft beer people. You and I don't have hang-ups about, we're not purists in a lot of ways. We're pretty open to fun and innovation and dumb shit, but we're also, like we were explaining, our sort of maybe our moments in the last 5 to 6 years of being exposed to high level lagers and crispies and all that type of stuff that converted us to being, maybe not converted us to being purists, but maybe made us more a little excited about like things like this Hofbräu, this Paulaner, that are just like the originators of the style. And I feel like you need that it's just historical context to be like,
it's not it's not even anything about being a purist, but it's more being able to appreciate
what it's trying to emulate,
like to appreciate the history of of what brought us to this point.
100%. That's it's the same shit as having Pliny the Elder. It's the same as having Hetty Topper, as having Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, as having Treehouse or Trillium as like OG, like Hayes or Hill Farmstead, actually, technically. Like, all of those things, and like, some of the OG Hayes, Barncat, if you were around, or Sawdust City, or Bellwoods in Ontario, or Nouvelle France, or Meso, or Brewski in Quebec, or Bar Canada, like knowing the history of this, any given style in your region, and then broader, and this is the broader thing. So anything that's, anyone doing an Oktoberfest beer, these two beers are two of the styles that they're trying to work towards, and that's what they're looking to live up to as brewers. And I think, it's just cool to know the benchmark. Like, all right, that's what they're going for. Sweet. Okay. This is perfectly to style. What we read out earlier on BJCP is this fucking beer, is the Polar.
Like, it's based on this.
It's perfect according to that. Because that, when I say that, the BJCP is based on this. Because this is the benchmark. And specifically the Paulaner one, to be honest. And these are both brewed in Munich. They're the true to form. So, even looking at how excited we're getting over drinking this, right after having all these fantastic takes from mostly Ontario and one from the States, is just, I think it's like part of the fun of being into craft beer, and just like understanding the history. Maybe you prefer the Ontario take and you don't like the Munich take, and that's fucking fine, but it's just knowing about what it is. Like, get educated.
Where it came from.
Yeah. And what they're aiming at. And maybe you think, I don't really like this. I actually prefer this kind of maybe slightly maltier take, or the slightly more caramel take, or the slightly bitter take. I think that's amazing, because there's something for every palate.
Absolutely.
And all of these beers individually are actually fantastic. And maybe some of them might have had, in a particular batch, it's craft beer, man. Shit ain't perfect anytime. Maybe sometimes a batch goes awry, some shit happens. Fuck, it's all good, because we know that brewery who might have had an off one, they're 97% of the time they're fucking phenomenal. Shit happens. You can't be 100%, not even probably. Well, maybe these European breweries after 200, 300, 400 years are pretty perfect, but still, it's just cool. And I feel like we illustrated our point here tonight as far as
I think so.
I think this is great. So once again, all 9 of these beers are available at any LCBO at any given time. We are recording this on the 9th of October, so this will drop in a week's time, so whatever that is, 16th. And, all of these beers will be very much available everywhere. LCBOs are promoting them. They have the end cap. They've got the pumpkin, so we'd also encourage you to get some pumpkin fall beers. As I don't know if you saw, the lineup is basically what we did last year. It's the same.
It pretty much is.
That's why I was like, I kind of made no sense to do about the pumpkin episode.
Yeah.
It was all the same stuff. So point being, you can go and recreate. Isn't that cooler though? That makes our podcast from a year ago just as relevant, because you could listen to that and drink the same beers along with us, but that was recorded a year ago. Yeah. And it's quite possibly going to be the same in a year's time from now, where people could listen to the Fest Bier pod and drink all of these same beers, hopefully at LCBO, or at the very least, the vast majority of them. which is amazing. Not to mention all other different fest beers they can get from breweries that don't distribute in the LCBO. Get them from an independent bottle shop. Get them directly from the brewery, wherever you are. We would highly recommend that. And get some of the German stuff to paint the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a couple of other shout outs, like ones that we've already made. Not beers that we drank tonight, but Tooth and Nail Victory Parade. For my money, probably the best Ontario Fest beer, the like in the province. That's that's what I would say.
And then True History Sticks and Stones too.
Oh yeah, True History that would be a pretty tight competitor. Godspeed Non-Bay. Would be up there as well. It's like it's a good point. Jesus Christ, it's so hard to pick. Dominion City also make a really dope fest beer too. That theirs is out right now as well.
What's it called? Just called Fest Bier?
It's called Fest Bier.
Okay, amazing.
We're so fucking spoiled for choice right now.
Yeah, I picked up Non-Bay the other day from Durand. I was very happy to see. I was hoping they would have Sticks and Stones. I was going to get you those, but they didn't have them in from True History, so I'm not sure what they're doing with that this year if they're getting them in. But we might need to talk to Adam or Matt about that. Yeah, like fellas, I'm to fucking do a little swing by right there. It's man, it's a really good time to be a craft beer drinker, no matter where you are. There's a lot of great stuff, and while the industry is in some and also just a quick shout out to Asheville, North Carolina. A lot of breweries got fucked by Hurricane Helene. Zillicoa got wiped out. High Wire got fucked. Burial, you and I did an order from them earlier this year. They have been instrumental in the community. They've been doing free burgers, water. Come and bring basically a place. They were actually fine, which was the brewery I went to when I went to Asheville. It's kind of fucked up, and now I'm looking to go to Tampa in fucking January for a month, and then Milton is hitting today. So
yeah, they're getting wrecked right now.
It's horrendous, and a lot of breweries are getting fucked. I mean, they seem pretty optimistic. I know a few folks that had them on the pod, the folks from Lilypad, and I've been talking to them, and they, some of them left, one of them stayed, and I was like, okay, I saw the mayor of Tampa say, if you stay, you're going to die. I was like, Jesus. My mom told me that they're telling you to write your name and details in permanent, Sharpie on your skin, just in case. That's how scary it is. So, it's in a rough time for beer. It's a rougher time for beer because that's 2 hurricanes in a fucking month, bro. That is out of control. And, there's that whole section of the US with some phenomenal breweries are getting hit. And obviously, there's a whole lot of devastation for many businesses and people, and it's horrible. But I just want to shout out I've been following it pretty closely just because I went to Asheville last year and, fans of a lot of these places and stuff. So just seeing what people are saying, it's super sad. So hopefully everyone is thriving and support craft beer. It's a great fucking time. As while it can be a little rough and it's rough for the industry, just keep supporting. And if anyone's listening or watching, that means you're a craft beer fan. And I know that the breweries appreciating you because we are all they have right now. So support grab your fest beers specifically. And Nate, anything else? We'll bring this bad boy home.
Oh man, that's it. Let's wrap it up.
Fuck yeah. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. Episode 180 of the Adjunct series here. Guys, what do I say? I fucked myself up because I changed it. Remember when you did the other day? I played it to Tiff and she laughed and you were like, and I'm still Nathan. That was good. What do I say? Hey guys, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Give us them 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That would mean the world. 5. Maybe make it 10. Make it 10. Doesn't matter. Yeah, guys, we drop in every week or as much as possible. I think we're pretty busy from now until the end, actually. I think it was a little bit of a patchy period from the summer till now. And I think after this, it gets, we ramp up a little bit. Maybe not next week, but after that. Guys, appreciate y'all. We'll see you very soon. Cheers.
Cheers.